Chapter 420. The truth was right in front of their eyes. They had no choice but to believe it. Seeing the immortal emperors that they had painstakingly nurtured being killed, even if it was for the sake of resources, their hearts would still ache. However, it wasn't just one or two who had died. At this moment, Bing and the others had 12 immortal emperors. After the first round of attacks, the Qianquan sect had lost 7 immortal emperors. This number was enough to make their hearts ache. On the other hand, the Xuanzong sect was completely fine. There wasn't even a scratch on them. When this scene happened, even the tens of thousands of Xuanzong sect disciples who were in the midst of the chaotic battle felt their fighting strength increase to another level. The rush of killing 7 immortal emperors was a good start for their counterattack. They didn't disappoint. The first wave of attacks from several sects had finally come to an end. At this moment, the scene at the entrance of the Xuanzong sect was like a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. It was like hell. It was extremely eerie and chilling. Especially when they saw the Xuanzong sect disciples on top of the mountain of corpses. They held bloody weapons in their hands. Their bodies, including their faces, were covered in blood. Their eyes were fierce and murderous. Every Xuanzong sect disciple was like a eaten corpse that had walked out from hell. It was terrifying. Seeing this scene, the Xuanzong sect disciples knew that their chances of winning were very slim. However, they didn't expect the Xuanzong sect to provoke the intruders at the entrance of the Xuanzong sect. Broken dogs. To think that you're still barking here. Do you really think that I don't have a way to destroy you? At this moment, the Qianquan sect leader stood in the air and looked at the dead disciples with the same expression. It was as if the deaths had nothing to do with him. However, the others didn't think so. They knew that the people here were the elites that they had brought along. They were the mainstays of their families, empires, and sections. So many of them had died in such a short time. Their hearts were bleeding. Their hearts ached for their dead brothers, friends, and clansmen. They never thought that this would be their final resting place. However, what shocked them the most was that the immortal emperors were powerful, but they didn't expect the people below them to be so powerful. For a moment, everyone began to have the intention to recruit these people. I'm the Sword Sect Master, Jian Wudi. I'm sure all of you are familiar with me. I'm the father of your law enforcement department's sect master. Right now, there are 2 choices before all of you. The first is to submit to me and become a disciple of my sword sect. In the future, I'll definitely put all of you in an important position. No one had expected Jian Wudi to come forward and offer an olive branch to the Xuanzong sect at this time. Of course, the others were even more unwilling to accept this. Immediately, the recruitment meeting began. No, I'm from the Bai clan. Come to the Bai clan, and I'll give you the best resources. Who do you think you are? Come to my Kunlun sect. My Kunlun sect is the guardian of a region. Come to my proud heaven empire. Come to my Kunlun sect, and I'll give you the titles of nobles and generals. You'll be a man above all men, and you'll enjoy the admiration of the world. One by one, these people began to openly recruit the Qianquan immortal sect master. At this moment, the Qianquan sect master's face was red with anger. However, to the disciples of the profound sect, their recruitment was nothing more than a show. They thought that the profound sect's disciples were merely showing off. Enough nonsense. Kill them all. This time, I'll destroy the Xuanzong sect. A roar rang out. Everyone was stunned. Of course, no one moved because of the order. Only the tens of thousands of Qianquan sect's disciples moved. Yes, we'll destroy the Xuanzong sect. After receiving the order, the disciples of Qianquan sect moved and began to kill the Xuanzong sect once again. Kill. Without holding back, the disciples of the Xuanzong sect raised their weapons and charged forward. However, Jin Ling was already exhausted. After all, Jin Ling's cultivation was only at the golden immortal realm. In front of someone stronger than her, her little tricks were not worth mentioning. However, when Bing noticed this, he decisively killed the immortal emperor in front of him. Humph, the emperor doesn't have time to waste with you. End this. Ice Seal, Ice Crystal Terror. Suddenly, an extremely cold space appeared around the immortal emperor who was facing ice. On the spatial wall, icicles with terrifying aura instantly pierced through the immortal emperor who was trapped. Pu. Under such circumstances, the immortal emperor had no ability to fight back. Firstly, he was not as strong as Bing. Secondly, his cultivation techniques and martial techniques were not as strong as Bing's. Therefore, he could only face the situation of being killed. After it ended, Bing was not in the mood to stay in the air. He was very worried about Jean Ling's life because this concerned Lin Rei. He knew that she had to protect everything about Lin Rei. No matter what it was, whether it was him or the property. In an instant, Bing, who had disappeared, reappeared next to Jean Ling. At this moment, Jean Ling was exhausted. At the same time, a cold sword was coming down on her from above. Humph, you're courting death. After a cold snort, Jian Bing waved his sleeve and the cultivator was annihilated by Bing without leaving even a trace of his body. However, as soon as this scene appeared, Jean Ling immediately reacted. Then, she turned around and saw the existence of ice. Hee, thank you. Plop. Perhaps because she was too tired, she fainted in Bing's arms after saying this to him. Sister Jean Ling, are you alright? Looking at the unconscious Jean Ling, Bing Shana became anxious. Then, a pure immortal qi was transferred into Jean Ling's body. Bing helped her recover from her previous injuries. After everything was done, Bing finally breathed a sigh of relief. Phew, luckily you're fine. Otherwise, even if I had more of you, it would be useless. However, she did not know that her actions were unintentionally seen by the Qiankuan sect leader in the air. He had an idea and an idea appeared in his mind. To catch bandits, first catch the leader. Since you guys are so stubborn, don't blame me. Xiao. Time to sleep. The Qiankuan sect leader took the initiative. As the leader of a sect, no matter what, he still had some skills. His speed was extremely fast and in an instant, he appeared beside Bing. Bang! Bing was sent flying by the Qiankuan sect leader. Jean Ling was naturally taken away by Qiankuan sect leader. Perhaps because he was too worried about Jean Ling's existence, he was not vigilant of his surroundings. He did not expect that he would let the other party escape. Pfft! A mouthful of blood spurted out from Bing's mouth. In an instant, Bing's entire face turned pale. Plop, plop. After flying 100 meters, Bing landed on the ground and rolled one round before coming to a stop. You. Looking at Jean Ling who had been taken away, Bing could only trust him. After all, Jean Ling was the backbone of the Qiankuan sect and it was Lin Rei's aura. She could not let it be threatened. Old man, you are a sect leader. How dare you attack the emperor so shamelessly? How shameful. Bing had no choice. In order to not let Jean Ling be threatened, he could only do this. Stop pretending. Lin Rei's wife is in my hands. Tell me, what should you do? After saying that, Qiankuan sect leader grabbed Jean Ling's neck. In the air, he used his cultivation to remind the Xuanzong sect members, stop. Your sect leader's wife is in my hands. Put down your weapons and I will let you go. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen. Qiankuan sect leader's hand tightened around Jean Ling's neck. Jean Ling's face flashed with a painful expression, but she was the first to cry out. However, Qiankuan sect leader's method was still effective. Sure enough, after hearing Qiankuan sect leader's voice, all the Xuanzong sect disciples stopped their weapons and looked up at Qiankuan sect leader. Everyone's face was full of anger. Quick, let my mother go. Otherwise, I will kill all of you. Suddenly, Jean N, who was in the crowd, saw that his mother had been caught. He instantly rushed out of the crowd and roared at the crowd. The murderous intent in his eyes was very chilling. Looking at those eyes that could eat people, everyone was stunned. Quick. Quick, quick. Go back, don't worry about me. Looking at her son, Jean Ling instantly panicked. At this moment, her son stood out. He was undoubtedly treated as the target of public criticism. At the heart of the storm, it would definitely be very dangerous. This was not what she, as a mother, wanted to see. However, the more she did not want things to happen, the more they always happened. Lin Rei's son. Since it's like this, I will kill him first. I will let all of you know that Xinkuan's sect leader is a man of his word. Whoosh. While everyone was in a daze, a cold light at the speed of light appeared in front of Jinan's chest. Without any hesitation, it directly pierced through Jinan's body. Ah! No! A furious roar came out of Jean Ling's mouth. Unfortunately, it was too late. It was too late. At this moment, Jean N, who was still there, had a hole in his chest. Blood slowly flowed out from it. Killed. Simple and decisive, ruthless and dignified. Everyone was dumbfounded. They did not expect Xinkuan's sect leader to be so shameless as to use someone else's wife as a bargaining chip to win. They did not dare to agree with this. Ah! A scream came out of Jean Ling's mouth. Tears flowed out of her eyes without any regard for her life. However, these tears were not colorless, but blood red. Yes, it was blood. Watching her own son die in front of her, and being unable to do anything about it, was such a heart-wrenching thing. Chapter 421. This scene shocked everyone present. Of course, as the mother of the deceased, she was quite sad, desperate, and disheartened. Looking at her lifeless son lying on the ground, Jean Ling really wanted to avenge him, but she knew that she would not be spared today. When the people of the Xuanzong sect saw the corpse of the young master, Jean N, they originally wanted to stop it, but they did not have the time. Jean Ling's hoarse voice made everyone present tremble in fear. They even felt as if their bodies were frozen, and they were rooted to the ground. Looking at Jean Ling, who was being strangled by the heaven and earth path, Bing's eyes were filled with guilt. He came back to the ground with tears flowing down his face. He said to Jean N, I'm sorry, I'm useless. I couldn't protect the young master. I'm sorry. Bing's actions stunned everyone. They did not understand, but Jean Ling did understand what Bing meant. Ha ha. She laughed. After hearing Bing's words, Jean Ling laughed. However, no one present wanted to hear such laughter a second time because such laughter made them feel cold all over, especially the bone-chilling coldness. It was as cold and heartless as 10,000-year-old ice. Get up. This is not your fault. The fault is that this group of people should be killed, but no one can stop them. I'm laughing because I can't see them die because of my anger. I'm laughing because my son is dead, but my Lin family is not extinct. I'm laughing even more at this group of inhumane bastards. Words that made everyone ashamed came out of Jean Ling's mouth. However, everyone could tell that she was joking because they all knew that when a person said something before they died, 90% of them were true. Especially when they looked at Jean Ling's ruthless and cold face at this moment, everyone felt that what she said was true. All of you, just you wait. Someone will definitely avenge my son and me. Don't worry, my son and I will definitely walk very slowly on the 9 nether path. We will wait for you. Crack. Ah. Suddenly, a voice that made one's hair stand on end sounded. After hearing Jean Ling's words, the heaven and earth path directly cut off Jean Ling's hand. This kind of pain appeared on a woman's body. No one would be able to endure it, let alone a woman. Don't you want to say it? Since you want to say it, don't you dare faint. Then, this spirit energy directly sealed the wound on Jean Ling's arm. In an instant, the wound stopped bleeding, but the pain still eroded Jin Ling's will. Crack. Ah. Before anyone could react, Jin Ling's other arm also disappeared. Instead, blood spurted out. This scene was so bloody that no one dared to look directly at it. There were even some people who were unwilling to see this scene. They immediately turned around and sealed their hearing. Ah. No, no. The people of the Xuanzong sect saw that their mistress was humiliated by the heaven and earth path. They looked at Jin Ling, who had lost her arm and was in pain. As disciples of the Xuanzong sect, they were powerless in front of the scene in front of them. This was undoubtedly a huge blow to their hearts. Even if today passed, it would still be an obstacle to their future cultivation. Heaven and earth path, you old bastard. How dare you bully my mistress inside? Aren't you afraid that my sect leader will destroy your entire sect? At this moment, the black shadow from the dark sect who had followed Lin Rei for a long time could no longer bear it. He immediately said it out loud and pointed at the heaven and earth path, threatening them with indignation. Heaven and earth path, you old bastard, just you wait. Even if you kill my Xuanzong sect today, when my sect leader returns, he will exterminate your sect. At this moment, the people of the Xuanzong sect were no longer afraid of death. They only hoped that the heaven and earth path could give Jin Ling a quick death and stop her from being tortured like this. Taoist friend heaven and earth, we came here today just to destroy the Xuanzong sect. There's no need to do this. Look at Jin Ling, she's a woman. Isn't it against the righteous path and against your conscience to attack her like this? That's right, Taoist friend. You've gone too far. F***ck, you should just kill Lin Rei's wife directly. That's right, that's right. Brother Woody is right. Taoist friend heaven and earth, hurry up and kill her. You don't have to do this to them. At this moment, the people who came with the heaven and earth path couldn't stand it anymore when they saw how cruel the heaven and earth path was. They immediately tried to persuade the heaven and earth path. However, fortunately, they still had a lot of faith. After listening to everyone's explanation, the heaven and earth path had no choice but to agree. Okay, today I'll do you a favor. I'll kill Jin Ling right away. Humph, just you wait. Sooner or later, I'll kill all of you one by one. At that time, I'll make you beg for death. Although the heaven and earth path's face was full of smiles, his heart was extremely gloomy. Puff, puff. She was killed. Blood gushed out and fell from the sky like rain. However, when this scene appeared, everyone's eyes narrowed, their pupils contracted, and their faces were full of anger. Although the heaven and earth path agreed to kill Jin Ling, they didn't say how to do it. However, no one expected that the heaven and earth path would be so cruel. Even if she died, she didn't leave a way out for others. Her head, arms, and legs were all separated. Her death was so cruel that it was unbearable to look at. In the sky above the central region of the Pacific Ocean on planet Aqua Blue, Lin Rei, who had returned from the immortal realm, had arrived at the place where the Pishio was imprisoned. I'm finally back. Along the way, I've really experienced 81 difficulties. At this time, Lin Rei's clothes were ragged and his hair was disheveled. He looked exactly like a beggar. You still have the nerve to say that. In the space, I told you not to move around, but you didn't. Every time, you're so busy. Remember, if you do this again, don't say that I didn't warn you. At this time, the little dragon, who had been following closely beside him, lectured him with a sullen face. Suddenly, just as Lin Rei was about to jump into the sea, he felt a sudden pain in his chest and tears flowed from his eyes unconsciously. What's wrong? The little dragon's heart skipped a beat when he saw Lin Rei's situation. He quickly came forward and asked with concern. However, at this moment, Lin Rei's soul seems to have left his body. He didn't hear the little dragon at all. The pain in his heart is getting stronger and stronger. This kind of pain is something that Lin Rei has never experienced before. Hey, boy, don't scare me. Did you hear me? Hiss, I say, why are you? After hearing no reaction from Lin Rei, the little dragon shouted again. But halfway through, Lin Rei covered his chest with his hand and explained to the little dragon with eyes full of sorrow. I don't know why, but just now, my heart suddenly hurt, as if I lost something important. My heart is very sad. As he spoke, he touched his cheek with one hand. Tears stained his hand. At this moment, he was even more certain that something must have happened. Otherwise, with his immortal emperor cultivation, this kind of situation wouldn't have happened at all. Well, let's not talk about it first. Hurry up and go into the sea. It's not easy to come here, so you should quickly unlock the seal of the Biyao. Only then can you return to the immortal realm. Moreover, your life won't be in danger. Having known Linli for so many years, Xiaolong knew Linli's temperament well. Although Xiaolong couldn't say that he was 90% certain, he was certain that Linli would listen to him. As long as one wasn't a fool, they would be able to understand the meaning of the little dragon's words. Sure enough, after hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei gave up the idea of returning to the immortal realm immediately. Instead, he wasted no time and plunged directly into the Pacific Ocean. In front of Tianxiong Mountain in the immortal realm, the scene at this moment was very solemn. The smell of gunpowder was very oppressive. Old man, you dare to kill the mistress of the Xuanzong sect. Today, I'll fight with you. Kill him. At this moment, Jian Feng was at the end of his patience. After all, he owed Linli a great debt of gratitude. Now that he saw his benefactor's wife being killed with the help of his father, Jian Feng couldn't help but charge forward. His cultivation base instantly soared. With a top-grade immortal artifact in his hand, he began his massacre once again. However, Jin Ling's death ignited the bloodthirst of the Xuanzong sect brothers. If he had known earlier, Jinan would have treated them very well. Hee hee, jumping clowns, all of you can die for this sovereign. The heaven and earth path seemed to have expected such a scene. When he saw this scene, a treacherous smile appeared on his face, just like when his scheme was about to succeed. Heaven and earth technique, heaven and earth destruction, one palm. Kill. The heaven and earth path's cultivation of the exceptional realm of the celestial emperor was released instantly. A giant palm appeared in an instant and fell directly from the sky. It didn't matter if the person was a disciple of the Xuanzong sect or not, the palm directly slapped down fiercely. Bang! A loud sound rang out, causing everyone present to reveal a shocked expression. However, at the place where the heaven and earth path had slapped, a huge handprint appeared. At the same time, the huge handprint was filled with corpses. There were hundreds of corpses, and none of them were spared. However, most of the corpses were not from the Xuanzong sect. They were disciples from various sects, empires, and families. When this scene appeared, everyone was unwilling. They had watched these dead people grow up. Some of them were even close to them. Now, they were all dead, slapped to death by the heaven and earth path's palm. Although they were in an alliance now, everyone was selfish in their hearts. At this moment, after seeing their disciples die, Jian Wudi, Xian Dao, and the others were unwilling. Among the dead disciples, the disciples of the Kunlun Immortal Sect and the Sword Sect were the most, followed by the Proud Moon Empire and the others. Heaven and Earth Path, you're too ruthless. You even dare to kill the disciples of the Sword Sect. Are you courting death? Chapter 422. As the sect leader of the Sword Sect, he could not bear to see his disciple die tragically. At the same time, he did not want to see the Heaven and Earth Sect being so arrogant, so he immediately reprimanded them. After one person spoke, the others became even more unscrupulous. After hearing Jian Wudi's reprimand, the others also began to criticize the Heaven and Earth Sect for strangling their own disciples to death. Humph, that's right. Heaven and Earth Sect, what are you trying to do? They were all the mainstays of our sect. Now that they were killed by you, tell us, what should we do about this? Yes, tell us. At this moment, the sects of those who were killed by the Heaven and Earth sect all began to argue with the Heaven and Earth sect. However, Bing had already gone crazy. She turned a blind eye to the dispute between the sects and empires in the sky. At this moment, she looked at Jean Ling, who was torn apart by the Heaven and Earth sect, and Jean En, who was killed by an arrow through his chest, with tears in her eyes. Plop. Bing knelt on the ground with a sorrowful expression and kowtowed to Jean Ling, and, Sister Jean Ling, I'm sorry. I didn't protect N, well. Back then, young master asked me to protect N, but now. N is dead. I've let young master down, and I've let you down even more. I'm sorry that I couldn't let you suffer less. I'm sorry. Bing's voice trembled in front of Jean Ling, and her body was extremely cold at this moment. However, after the fierce battle, more than half of the original tens of thousands of disciples had died. Even 3 of the 12 celestial emperors had died, and 9 of them were killed. This was the most difficult challenge in the history of the Xuanzong sect. Plop. Plop. The remaining members of the Xuanzong sect all came behind Bing, knelt down, and coughed deeply at Jean Ling's corpse. Then, they began to mourn in silence. Looking at this scene, Bing was sobbing silently. Her tears had dried up, and she could no longer shed a single tear. Ah ah ah. An angry roar rang out, waking up the people of the Heaven and Earth sect who were arguing. At the same time, the disciples of the Xuanzong sect, who were in silent mourning, were also awakened. Everyone looked at Bing, who was kneeling on the ground, and roared to the sky with hostility. My dead brothers and mistresses, don't worry. If we don't die today, we will definitely uproot all the sects, empires, and families that come here. I don't care if their families are here or not. We will definitely make all the people who participated in the siege today pay with their blood. None will be left alive. His words were so cold that Jian Wudi and the others were shocked. At the same time, the people of the Xuanzong sect were agitated when they heard Bing's words. That's right. If we don't die today, we will definitely kill them all in the future. Let them all accompany you. Brothers, rest in peace, rest in peace. Boom. Suddenly, the moment they finished speaking, the sound of thunder resounded in the sky, as if acknowledging their words. Hiss. Others didn't understand, but the sect leaders, emperors, and family heads of the major sects knew that this was the acknowledgement of their words by the heavens and earth. It meant that this enmity had been formed, and it would be irreconcilable until one of them died. One of the 2 sides had to die. Otherwise, the one who betrayed the oath would be destroyed by the thunder tribulation. Humph, since you don't want to live, don't blame us for being ruthless. You know that cultivation is something that can't be erased in a lifetime. The only way now is to kill all the people in front of you. Leave no one alive. Same. At this point, the Heaven and Earth path glanced at Jian Wudi, who had an ugly expression on his face, and said, similarly, your son, Jian Wudi, has joined the oath-taker's side. He will fight us to the death for all eternity, unless we die. Hearing this, the crowd looked at Jian Wudi with sympathy. At the same time, they rejoiced in their hearts. Hee, fortunately, my son is not here. This sentence echoed in the hearts of all the sect leaders. Of course, Jian Wudi was the most upset at this moment. He couldn't accept that his son had become his enemy. Humph, take care of yourselves. Jian Wudi growled at the sympathetic gazes of the crowd and the words of the Heaven and Earth path with a cold face. Well, in this case, don't bother. Let's make it quick. Let's work together and use your best martial arts to kill him. What do you think? At this time, Bai Nan, the family head of the Bai family, stood out and said to the crowd. However, because of what had happened before, he couldn't say it out loud. Sure enough, as soon as Bai Nan's idea was mentioned, the crowd immediately agreed with him. Well, let's do it. Let's start. Everybody agreed. Immediately after, they took out their own weapons and used their own powerful skills. They immediately aimed their weapons at Bing and the other disciples of the Xian sect who were kneeling on the ground. Hee, Grey Wolf Sea Moon, Twist. Flowing Cloud and Flying Snow, Seal. Sky Star Palm, Destroy Heaven and Earth. Powerful martial arts skills that were rarely seen were all used at this moment. The last one was Jian Wudi. After thinking for a while, he finally decided to take action. Sigh, that's all. Don't blame me. Who told you to stand with Xianzong and make such a vicious oath? Don't blame me. Hee, Swordsmanship Code, Sealing Rain Sword, Sword Sealing Rain, One Sword Celestial. The Swordsmanship Code, the most powerful martial arts skill of the Swordsmanship Sect, was used smoothly by Jian Wudi under the water cloud flowing sword. Streaks of terrifying sword chi filled the surroundings, as if everything would be strangled. It was terrifying. Hee, Cruel and Merciless. Sure enough, Jian Wudi still thinks that his life is more valuable than his son's in front of his own. Jian Wudi's action was undoubtedly telling the crowd that his life was very valuable. Even if it was his own family in front of him, as long as they stood in his way, he would crush them. Similarly, Jian Feng, who was kneeling on the ground, felt the aura of the Swordsmanship Code. He immediately looked up at the sky and saw his father, whom he had always respected, holding a sword and pointing it at him. He had to be cautious, ruthless, and sorrowful. Hee. Sure enough, he still wants to kill me. Looking at his father, Jian Feng said with a miserable smile and a self-deprecating tone. Well, we don't need such things in the future. In this case, we can only fight to protect our lives. Don't forget, the blood debt we bear is all their lives. Bing's words brought the crowd back to their senses. Everyone spoke to the Xuanzong sect with hostility and murderous intent. Let's fight. If we don't die in this battle, we will massacre all the sects and families and make them pay a painful price. Ha! In the sky, Jian Wudi and the others shouted loudly. Immediately, the martial arts skills that they had been accumulating for a long time could no longer be held back. With a strong pressure and a terrifying aura, they instantly arrived in front of Bing and the others. Seeing the attack so close, Bing and the others felt that their bodies were gradually turning cold, as if they were about to become corpses. Is God going to kill us? Looking at their dead brothers and sisters, looking at the dead mistress and young sect master, and looking at the attack that was so close to them, they felt powerless and closed their eyes, waiting for death to come. However, at this moment, in the sky outside the sect, a group of people was rushing over. When they saw that the Xuanzong sect's disciples were about to die, the young man in the lead immediately released his cultivation, followed by an appropriate amount of immortal spiritual qi. With a wave of his sleeve, the Grim Reaper, who was originally close to Bing, disappeared. However, Bing and the others did not know that after waiting for a long time, they did not feel any pain. Slowly, they opened their eyes. In an instant, a group of people with powerful cultivation had appeared in front of them. Facing these people who had suddenly appeared, Bing did not know who they were, but he could see that they did not have any hostility. However, what shocked the people from the Qinkuan sect was that they knew that the martial arts skills that they had just released could not be so easily neutralized. However, the scene in front of them was real. Who are you? Why are you interfering with the affairs of the Qinkuan sect and the other sects? Do you want to disappear along with the Xuanzong sect? At this moment, Bing and the others could no longer tolerate the fact that these people had neutralized his attack silently. This was the first time in his life that he had ever been humiliated like this, and it made him very unhappy. Ha! The man in the lead laughed coldly. Then, he turned around and said to Bing, who had already stood up, in a gentle tone, "We are from the Xuanzong sect, and this is the territory of the Xuanzong sect." Hearing this, the people from the Qinkuan sect, including Bing and the others, narrowed their eyes. Although the other party did not have any killing intent, they still had to be wary of him. With caution, they prepared themselves for battle and responded to the man's words. That's right, this is the territory of the Xuanzong sect. We are the only remaining disciples of the Xuanzong sect. May I know who you are? At this moment, Bing used the word sir to address the young man. This was because she had just checked the young man's cultivation level. However, she did not expect that the young man in front of her had no cultivation level at all. It could even be said that he was an ordinary person. For this reason, there were two possibilities. First, the man in front of her was indeed an ordinary person. Second, the man in front of her was so powerful that she couldn't even sense his cultivation. These two possibilities were the easiest to explain and the easiest to accept. However, after Bing gave an affirmative response, the young man smiled. Chapter 423. Hee, we were sent back by the young master to guard the sect. The young master had a premonition that if we left the sect for too long, the other sects would be dissatisfied and even besiege us. Therefore, he sent us back to guard the sect. As he spoke, Ling Yu turned around and looked at the bloody battlefield around him. He smiled miserably, and his face instantly turned cold. However, it's obvious that we were too late. At this point, Ling Yu and the other 18 people lowered their heads and spoke to the remaining people of the Xuanzong sect with eyes full of guilt. However, Ling Yu's words were not taboo for everyone. The moment Ling Yu said this, the people of the heaven and earth path were all shocked. This was because the people who had suddenly appeared in front of them were not ordinary cultivators. There were even two people whose realms they could not perceive. At this point, they suddenly thought of a very frightening possibility. No, it can't be. The rules of the immortal realm are under the supervision of Tendo. This kind of thing can't happen. I must have thought wrong. Yes, I must have thought wrong. At this time, the heaven and earth path's thoughts were exactly the thoughts of everyone who had besieged them. However, because they were very clear about the order and rules of the immortal realm, they would rather choose the opposite answer. They did not want to believe it, nor did they dare to believe it. If this matter was really as they thought, then this matter would be very serious. They besieged the Xuanzong sect and even killed the disciples of the Xuanzong sect and Lin Rei's wife and children. Just like the oath of the remaining people of the Xuanzong sect, their sects, empires, and families would no longer exist. So what if they had the descendants of the celestial venerables? This matter would not change at all. Young master. However, Bing's thoughts were completely different from theirs. The moment he did not hear Ling Yu's words, Bing's heart completely collapsed, and tears flowed out from his eyes uncontrollably. However, when he thought of the dead Jin Ling and Jin En, Bing instantly lost control of himself. He felt even sadder and more helpless. Not only did Bu Bing cry, even the disciples of the Xuanzong sect who had never stopped fighting, including Lin Wanyu and the other 4 disciples. At that time, it was not because they were afraid. Instead, it was because they had learned that their master Lin Rei was fine, and that the rumors from before were all lies. Sigh. Sorry, we're late. But don't worry, the sects, clans, empires, and sects that participated in the siege will all pay the price of annihilation. Looking at his fellow sect members in front of him, Ling Yu could empathize with their feelings. After saying that, Ling Yu's face was cold and emotionless. He looked coldly at the enemies in the sky outside of the Xuanzong sect. There was only one thought in Ling Yu's mind, and that was to suppress them all and wait for Lin Rei to come back and deal with them. However, the moment Ling Yu's words left his mouth, the heaven and earth path and Jian Wudi were frightened. They knew that the 2 reinforcements of the Xuanzong sect in front of them were very powerful. They were so powerful that they had no power to fight back. Even so, they would not allow themselves to be captured without putting up a fight. They were the leaders of their sects, and behind them were the disciples of their sections. If they retreated at this moment, it would not only bring about death, but also the complete destruction of their sections. It would not be long before their sects were completely destroyed. Senior, we're just here to reason with the Xuanzong sect. The conflict was purely an accident. You're an expert of the immortal venerable realm. Tendo has already made it clear that immortal venerables in the immortal world are not allowed to interfere with the affairs of the sects in the immortal world. Aren't you afraid of Tendo's punishment? He was indeed the leader of a sect. At this time, he was still able to remain calm in the face of danger. Moreover, he was able to use Tendo as a threat. Even Bing and the others were impressed by his wisdom and rationality. But so what? They still couldn't avoid the fate of death, because this was the oath they had sworn. However, Lin Yu didn't say anything after hearing the words of the heaven and earth path. Instead, he laughed heartily. His eyes were filled with contempt and disdain. He looked at them as if he was looking at a few clowns. Ha ha ha, idiots. When did I say that I'm going to do it myself? Kuei Gang, who had been silent all this while, finally spoke. His voice was rough, and his appearance was similar to the way he spoke. However, he seemed to be a very decisive person. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. Immediately, the group of people from the heaven and earth path heaved a sigh of relief, and the tension on their faces receded. However, the expressions of Bing and the others behind Lin Yu changed drastically. Just as they were about to ask why, Kuei Gang's voice was heard again. The group of people from the heaven and earth path who were filled with joy when they heard Kuei Gang's words changed their expressions instantly. When they heard Kuei Gang's words, they were dumbfounded. I said that we won't do anything. However, we didn't say that we won't use our cultivation to suppress all of you in the barrier. Furthermore, Kuei Gang took a deep breath. Obviously, he was trying to distract the heaven and earth path and mess with their minds. Furthermore, Tendo? So what if you're Tendo? We've been in the Xuanzong sect for a long time. We have nothing to do with Tendo, and we're not something that Tendo can control. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. This was the first time in 10 billion years that someone had dared to contradict Tendo so bluntly. Rumble. Rumble. When Kuei Gang finished speaking, a huge eye of silence appeared in the sky and stared at Kuei Gang for a long time. At the same time, Kuei Gang fearlessly looked at the eye of the heavenly Tao. What was even more shocking was that when Kuei Gang looked at the eye of the heavenly Tao, his body was filled with battle intent. Ugh! In the eyes of everyone present, this scene was extremely daring and shocking, and it could even be said to be extremely horrifying. However, not long after the eye of the heaven Tao appeared, it vanished as if it had never appeared. Hiss. What? This scene puzzled everyone, but the truth was right in front of their eyes. It was useless to be on the same side. While everyone was still fighting against the eye of the heavenly Tao, Kuei Gang released his cultivation in an instant, and a destructive aura and pressure appeared in an instant. Hiss. Sure enough, he's really in the immortal venerable realm. Sensing the Qinkuan Dao, Jian Wudi and the others were certain of this realm. Although they didn't know what kind of power this was, they had felt this kind of aura from an immortal venerable before. It was rarely the same. They even felt that the immortal venerable before them was slightly stronger than their immortal ancestor. As soon as this thought appeared in their minds, they broke out in cold sweat. Their eyes widened as if they had sensed something bad. Humph! How dare you come to my Xuanzong sect and behave atrociously? Today, I'll let you know that my Xuanzong sect isn't a place that you can tarnish, humiliate, and bully. Seal. 4 Directions Enchantment. Seal. The 4 Directions enchantment opened in all directions, slowly encircling the attacking cultivators. They wanted to escape, but they didn't have the ability to fight against Kuei Gang who was in the immortal venerable realm. In the end, they could only watch helplessly as their escape route was sealed off. Shui, listen to my command. This time, it's time to make a contribution to the sect. You will lead 16 Azuras to the town to capture their leader. Remember, you can only capture them alive and not kill them. Because... Ling Yu's voice turned cold, so cold that it could freeze a person to death. Their lives are reserved for the sect leader. Do you all know that? Ling Yu's words were heard by everyone present. Following which, everyone's gazes landed on the 16 people who had not been paying attention to them. Everyone was looking forward to seeing how strong these 16 people were. Boom, boom, boom. The moment he heard Ling Yu's words, the middle-aged man called Blood One released his suppressed cultivation. In an instant, he released his peak Immortal Emperor cultivation and a terrifying murderous aura rushed out of his body. At the same time, Blood One appeared one after another. Blood 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the way until Blood 16, everyone unleashed the full power of their cultivation bases. As of this moment, everyone was so shocked that they almost couldn't believe their eyes. 16 of them, all of them at the peak of the Immortal Emperor realm. Even the 5 great sects wouldn't be able to gather such a force. Moreover, these 16 people were all at the same cultivation level. The probability of this happening was extremely rare. In fact, it had never happened before. Of course, the most frightening thing was that the aura of these 16 people were all baleful blood chi. They knew about this baleful blood chi. They couldn't even stand this kind of baleful blood chi, let alone use it for cultivation. Everyone was shocked. Of course, those from the heaven and earth path were filled with regret. However, those from Bing's side were pleasantly surprised because the time for revenge had come. Yes, we will do as you say. After hearing Ling Yu's words, the 16 Shura tribesmen unleashed their cultivation and charged into the sealed heaven enchantment. They began a massacre without any suspense. However, something even more shocking happened. The moment the 16 Shura people entered the battle, the number of Shura people started to change. At first, there were only 16 Shura people, but now, there were 32 of them. When this happened, everyone thought that they were seeing things. They rubbed their eyes, and when they looked again, there were more and more Shura people inside the heaven's sealing barrier. There were already more than 60 Shura people. At this moment, everyone no longer thought that their eyes were playing tricks on them. This was really a miraculous scene. However, they did not notice that there were more than 60 Shura clansmen. They did not notice that the extra Shura clansmen were at the peak of the peak Celestial Emperor realm. Chapter 424. However, Ling Yu and Kuei Gang didn't know that the moment their cultivation base erupted, the other 5 immortal venerables who were living in the 33rd heaven had already noticed the change in their cultivation base. The 33rd heaven didn't really have 33 levels. It was just a name for the space where the immortal venerables lived. No one below the immortal venerable realm could enter the 33rd heaven. Moreover, the immortal chi in the 33rd heaven was particularly pure. There was even a trace of divine chi in it. When one's cultivation base reached the immortal venerable realm, it represented the divine world. Therefore, in order to break through the immortal venerable realm and reach the divine realm, it was necessary to cultivate divine chi. However, there were also those who broke through the shackles of the immortal emperor realm and reached the divine realm without becoming an immortal venerable. However, the cultivators who broke through to the divine realm were generally those with weak strength. Many of them wanted to break through to the immortal venerable realm, but the law of the immortal world stated that a world could only produce 5 immortal venerables. Others were helpless against this law. For millions of years, there were countless cultivators who had ascended to the divine world. Only a few extremely talented cultivators had broken through to the divine realm from the immortal venerable realm. As for the rest, they had directly sensed the divine chi in the divine world from the immortal emperor realm. At this moment, in the middle of the 33rd heaven, immortal venerable Qian Kun opened his eyes after sensing the chi of Ling Yu and Kuei Gang. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. This was too unbelievable. Similarly, not long after he sensed the chi of immortal venerables, Tendo's chi also appeared. However, it disappeared after a short while. With this strange phenomenon, immortal venerable Qian Kun was sure that there were other immortal venerables in the immortal world that he didn't know. Taoist Qian Kun, you must have sensed it too. Just when immortal venerable Qian Kun was at a loss, a voice suddenly sounded. Immediately, immortal venerable Qian Kun sneered, but his tone was very sincere. That's right. Not only are there immortal venerables, but there are also two of them. I'm afraid the immortal world is going to be in chaos soon. Yes, Daoist Qian Kuan. Since there are immortal venerables, we should go out and check them out. Otherwise, the world will forget about us. Another voice sounded. Hearing this voice, Qian Kuan smiled but did not say anything. Hee, fellow cultivator Samsara, what you're talking about is exactly what I'm thinking. In that case, let's go out and see what's happening in the immortal realm. By the way, let's congratulate the two fellow cultivators who just came out. After he finished speaking, Venerable Qian Kuan, who was sitting in the central palace, disappeared. As for the east, west, south, north, and south venerables, they also disappeared from their territories the moment Qian Kuan disappeared. Although the 33 layers of heaven were also in the immortal realm, they weren't in the immortal realm. They were in a separate space and were very far away from Miss Li. However, with their cultivation, they would be able to reach the immortal realm in less than a year. Boom, boom. On planet Aqua Blue, in the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean, Lin Ray had already arrived at the place where the Pai Shio was sealed. Finally, I've finally found it. If I had known this, I would have left a strand of divine sense here so that it would be easier for me to find it in the future. Alas, I can't be like before, randomly searching left and right. It turned out that after Lin Ray came to the Pacific Ocean, he was able to determine where he found the place where the Pai Shio was sealed. In addition, 100 years had passed, so the geographical changes were also very big. He went deep into the Pacific Ocean but lost his direction. Then, according to the memory of 100 years ago, he began to search. After a few days, he vaguely saw the mountain that he saw 100 years ago. You still have the nerve to say that. You left in a hurry. How can you blame anyone? You can only say that you were careless. If he didn't quarrel for a day, he wouldn't know the existence of the little dragon. The moment Lin Ray finished complaining, the little dragon ran out and belittled Lin Ray. Its face was full of laughter. Suddenly, Lin Ray felt helpless. In front of the little dragon, Lin Ray could only raise his hands and surrender. He didn't have any temper at all. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'd better hurry up and release that guy. After that, I'll go to the villa in Yanjing and pick up the dark team on planet Aqua Blue. After that, planet Aqua Blue will have nothing to do with me. As soon as the words came out, Lin Ray's eyes obviously dimmed. Under the dimness, there was a glimmer of longing. I said, stop pretending. I know you want to see your mother and siblings. In fact, with your current strength, you are completely capable of bringing them to the celestial realm and protecting them. The little dragon could guess Lin Ray's thoughts accurately. Sure enough, after hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray's eyes obviously widened. Then, he fell silent again. Forget it. Let them live a peaceful and quiet life. The celestial realm is not a place they can go. Here, at least there is no killing. However, in the celestial realm, people kill and steal treasures everywhere. The strong are respected, and the weak can only be crushed under the soles of their feet. At this point, Lin Ray's gloomy expression suddenly disappeared. Then, his eyes filled with fighting spirit instantly appeared. Okay, it's time to activate the blind XX. Now, it's more important to save the Pishio. Then, without another word, he took a step forward. In an instant, Linley's figure disappeared from where he stood. This was the so-called so close yet worlds apart. This was probably the case. When Lin Ray's figure flashed again, he had already arrived at the place where he saw the Pishio 100 years ago. Rumble. Rumble. Perhaps the Pishio had smelled Lin Ray's aura. When Lin Ray arrived, the sleeping Pishio had already awakened. However, the awakening of the Pishio was earth-shattering. The entire bottom of the sea shook violently, and the undercurrent was turbulent. If Lin Ray was still the little cultivator who had not reached the celestial realm 100 years ago, he would have been swept away by the undercurrent. "Is it you, kid?" A familiar voice sounded. The tone was still so annoying and wretched. "Yes, we agreed 100 years ago. After 100 years, I will definitely come back here to save you from the seal. I will keep my word." Boom. After finishing his words, Lin Rei instantly released the cultivation of an early-stage immortal emperor. Suddenly, the moment the pressure appeared, it swept out in all directions with Lin Rei as the center. Suddenly, all the creatures within 1,000 meters were directly suppressed under Lin Rei's pressure. Some of them could not bear it and died directly. Hiss. The Biyao took a deep breath and said, How is this possible? From the combination realm to the early-stage immortal emperor in 100 years, this kind of leap in strength was impossible even in that era. How did you do it? But now, Lin Rei could not see the real Biyao. He could only hear its voice because Lin Rei wanted to see the appearance of the Biyao. While being surprised, the Biyao's tone had a hint of joy because it could go out soon. "Well, kid, no matter what your cultivation is now, hurry up and take me out. I've been here for long enough. I don't want to stay here any longer." The Biyao's intention was also Linley's intention. At this time, Linley was very anxious. He wanted to return to the immortal world immediately because he was worried about his wife and children, worried about the disciples of the sect, worried about his brothers. Therefore, he did not waste time talking nonsense. "Lu Ying, use all your cultivation and break the seal for me." Lu Ying? Lin Rei's words puzzled the Biyao. However, at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared and released the aura of an immortal venerable. Boom. At this moment, all the cultivators in Kunlun Mountain, Ame Mountain, Wudong Mountain, Water Blue Planet, and all the famous mountains in the Wuxia realm were shocked beyond words after they felt this oppressive pressure. Lu Ying's method of cultivation was not only effective in Wuxia, but also in other countries in planet Aqua Blue. After feeling the pressure, all the cultivators and alien cultivators began to fly towards the place where the pressure appeared. Not only that, all the major families also sent people to search for the source of the pressure. At this moment, in the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean, Lu Ying appeared according to Lin Rei's order and released his cultivation. He held the guqin in one hand and gathered all his strength. Instantly, a powerful force rushed out of the instrument and blasted towards the seal. Bam! A loud sound was accompanied by an earthquake. The undercurrent under the sea began to sweep towards the seal crazily with Lu Ying as the center. However, on the surface of the Pacific Ocean, a huge water mark appeared instantly and rolled towards both sides. The water in the middle of the Pacific Ocean was separated. This scene was amazing, but it was not over yet. In the depths of the sea, a crack appeared on the seal of the Biyao after Lu Ying's attack. This scene fell into Lin Rei's eyes. Regarding this, Lin Rei was shocked. One should know that Lu Ying was in existence at the peak of the immortal venerable realm. But at this moment, after using all his strength, he could only cause a crack on the seal. This showed that this seal was not ordinary. It's better to let Lu Ying attack continuously. The sooner it's done, the sooner we can save ourselves the trouble. Little Dragon didn't care about Lu Ying's actions. He only ordered Lin Rei to continue attacking. Hurry up, I still have something to do. I won't be here for long. Lin Rei's words were the highest order in Lu Ying's ears. Even if Lin Rei ordered him to kill him now, he would kill himself without hesitation. Yes. As soon as he said that, the sound of the guqin rang out. Powerful attacks rushed out from the guqin, bombarding the place where the crack had appeared before. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Suddenly, a series of attacks caused the crack on the seal to become bigger and bigger. Finally, not long after, the seal finally broke under Lu Ying's attacks. Boom, kacha. The enchantment was broken, and a black shadow rushed out from the broken enchantment in an instant, laughing loudly. Chapter 425. Ahahaha. I'm finally out. The Pishio's voice was full of joy. Perhaps because it was too happy, it didn't care about Lin Rei who was next to it. The loud voice, accompanied by a huge spiritual power, began to stir up the water at the bottom of the sea. Suddenly, a huge whirlpool suddenly appeared. The water of the Pacific Ocean was very deep, but this Pishio that was still separated directly stirred up a whirlpool. Not only on the bottom of the sea, but also on the surface of the Pacific Ocean. This showed how powerful the spiritual power of the Pishio was. However, what made Lin Rei most helpless was that the whirlpool at the bottom of the sea was able to stir him up. If he didn't use his cultivation to suppress it in time, Lin Rei would have been stirred up to the surface of the sea by the power of the whirlpool at this moment. Oh, this little thing, because its spiritual power is not enough, it's still using it so recklessly. I'm afraid it won't be long before it dies. Looking at the presumptuous appearance of the Pishio, the little dragon couldn't help but worry. If he knew that the Pishio was dead, then he would be busy. What? The little dragon's words entered Lin Rei's ears, and he was suddenly shocked. Then, he quickly roared at the Pishio, "Pishio, I'll give you 3 breaths of time. Quickly stop, then eat obediently, then restore your cultivation and rebuild your body. Otherwise, I have a way to release you, and of course, I have a way to suppress you again." Lin Rei disapproved of the Pishio's nonsense because he heard the little dragon's words. If the Pishio continued like this, it was undoubtedly courting death. Therefore, Lin Rei could only use threats to calm it down. He didn't want to end up dead just after rescuing the Pishio. Sure enough, as soon as Lin Rei finished speaking, the Pishio immediately quieted down, and the whirlpool stirred up by the spiritual power also became quiet and weak in an instant. Originally, for the Pishio who had just escaped, it was impossible to calm down the excitement in his heart so quickly. However, when he heard Lin Rei say that he could reseal him, this made him unable to accept it. Immediately, even if he didn't want to be quiet, he had to do it. Otherwise, one could imagine what would happen. Here. Lin Rei looked at the Pishio in front of him. It had the head of a dragon, the body of a horse, and the feet of a dragon. It was shaped like a lion, and its fur was gray. Although it looked good, it was still okay. The moment the Pishio calmed down, Lin Rei directly took out a large number of pills and a heaven and earth bell, and said to it, "This is a medicinal pill for recovering your physical body, soul power, and cultivation. You have the cosmos bell with a time difference. Once you take the medicinal pill and enter, quickly recover. I believe that you will recover in no time. I still have things to do, so you can stay inside for now." With that said, without waiting for the Pishio to nod and agree, he casually threw him and the elixir into the cosmos bell and let him cultivate. What F***king nonsense, you're just like a woman. I really don't know if all Pishio are like this or if there's only such a special case. When his ears were finally quiet, Lin Rei finally breathed a sigh of relief. Ha ha ha, good, there will be more fun in the future. Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei rolled his eyes, but he had to admit that what it said was right. He was afraid that his ears would not have peace in the future. However, there are also benefits to being busy. The Pishio clan's restriction technique can be said to be at the peak of perfection. As long as the dead pig is by your side, you have to do your best to learn the restriction technique from it. No matter if it's cheating or other methods, the restriction technique of the Pishio clan must be learned. The little dragon's words reminded Lin Rei. However, it was still too early to learn the restriction technique in the current situation. Ding dong, young master, the host has completed the mission. Ding dong, mission reward, 1 Kuei 2 10,000 magical sword. Upgrading 1 magical weapon can upgrade 1 realm. The system's reward suddenly exploded in Lin Rei's mind. Instantly, Lin Rei was stunned. But fortunately, Lin Rei was not very interested in the reward at this moment. As for the 10,000 magical sword, Lin Rei had not been able to understand its mystery. Other than being able to resist celestial artifacts, it was hard to say whether it could resist divine artifacts. There was nothing else about it. As for upgrading a magic treasure by a grade, Lin Li could only think of the Cosmos Bell. He had two ideas. The first was that the Cosmos Bell could reduce the amount of time he needed to train. The second was that after upgrading, the time difference between the Cosmos Bell and the Cosmos Bell would increase again. If that was the case, then it would be much easier for him to cultivate geniuses in the future. After making the decision, Lin Rei sat cross-legged on the ground. He decided to complete the upgrade of the magical weapon before going out. Upgrade the Cosmos Bell. Lin Rei's voice was very firm and there was no doubt in it. Then, as soon as Lin Rei finished speaking, the system's voice came, as if it had been waiting for Lin Rei's answer. Ding dong, okay. Host, please wait a moment. Ding dong, upgrade the Cosmos Bell activated. At this moment, the battle in front of the Xuanzong sect in the eastern part of the Immortal Realm had ended. The 16 Azuras had suppressed everyone. The 16 Azuras, including the sect heads, emperors, and patriarchs, were all suppressed by Blood One and the other Azuras. However, the heaven and earth path was moved. They originally thought that since they were all immortal emperors, they would be able to escape from them. What the heaven and earth path did not expect was that they would be captured and suppressed by Shui Yi in less than 3 moves. This was a huge blow to the heaven and earth path. They had not expected this mysterious person to be so strong, including Jian Wudi. However, Jian Wudi was filled with regret at this moment. He had lost his son, and now, he was going to die due to age. For someone like him, this was a huge blow. His pride was completely obliterated at this moment. Looking at the people who had suppressed them earlier on being suppressed one by one, Xianzong and the others were extremely satisfied. At this moment, Xianzong and the others were extremely satisfied. At the very least, the humiliation was over. At this moment, the people who had come to watch and even wanted to pick up the scraps of the Xuanzong sect were shocked. None of them had expected that the sect, which was about to be destroyed, would come to their rescue at the last moment. Moreover, it was such a powerful person. They swore to themselves that no matter what danger the Xuanzong sect was in, they would never come again. This was because the Xuanzong sect was very dangerous. After the people who besieged Xianzong were suppressed, all the onlookers dispersed. As the saying goes, when the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. Although they were not the disciples of the sects who were suppressed, they still had their own plans. However, at this moment, even their plans were completely destroyed by the scene just now. Okay, lock them up in the Vermilion Bird and Black Tortoise halls. Remember, without my permission, no one can touch them. As for the outside, I will create a barrier so they won't be spared. As for these sinners, we'll deal with them after the sect master returns. At this moment, Ling Yu looked at everyone who had been suppressed. His eyes were extremely cold. However, when he thought of Lin Li, he couldn't help but warn the disciples of the profound sect. This was because he knew that if he didn't warn and pressure Lin Li, then these people would definitely be dismembered by 5 horses and their souls would be extracted in purgatory. Sure enough, after Ling Yu finished speaking, the people who were still unconvinced quieted down after hearing the name Lin Rei. Yes. After hearing Ling Yu's words, Shui Wan and the others immediately took the tens of thousands of people to the Vermilion Bird Hall and other temporary prisons. Soon, Shui Wan and the others disappeared from everyone's sight. At this moment, Ling Yu turned around and said to the crowd, I know that you all hate them, but this is related to the sect after all. It's just that we have to wait for the sect master to return before making a decision. After that, we'll bury them on Heaven's Vault Mountain and rank them. They will forever be the heroes of the Xuanzong sect. These words made everyone in the Xuanzong sect submit. The dissatisfaction they had towards Ling Yu completely disappeared the moment he said these words. Okay, I understand. I'll do it right away. Just like that, the Xuanzong sect's calamity finally came to an end. However, Lin Rei lost his wife and son in this calamity. Of course, Lin Ray, who was on planet Aqua Blue, didn't know this at all. If he did, then these sect members would no longer exist. Ding dong, congratulations to the host. The universal bell has been upgraded. Ding dong, congratulations to the host. The universal bell has been upgraded from an immortal weapon to a low-grade divine weapon. Now, the universal bell has a time difference of 11,000. 1 day outside is 1,000 days inside the universal bell. Hiss. Hearing the difference in time, Linley sucked in a cold breath. He hadn't expected that this increase in power would actually be 10 times as great as the previous one. Huh, that's enough. Look at you. Why do you still look like a country bumpkin who hasn't seen the world? You're drooling at the corner of your mouth. Hurry up and wipe it off. Just as Lin Ray was rejoicing, the little dragon's mocking voice sounded. Then, Lin Ray's hand subconsciously touched the corner of his mouth. In the end, Lin Ray was dumbfounded to find that there was no saliva at the corner of his mouth. However, the little dragon's laughter sounded and Lin Ray felt helpless. Ha ha ha, silly boy. Just because I said there was saliva, there was saliva? You're too gullible. Lin Ray didn't know how to respond to the little dragon's words. Then, he ignored the little dragon and stood up alone. The matter of the upgrade was resolved. He believed that the Pai Shio should be able to regain its strength soon. Although it couldn't return to its peak state, he believed that it wouldn't disappoint him. Okay, I won't talk to you anymore. Let's hurry back to the dark group and pick up Big Brother, Second Brother, and C's relatives. Then, we'll prepare to return to the celestial realm. Chapter 426. After saying that, he flew up without saying another word. His speed was so fast that it was hard for people to see him clearly. He turned into a beam of light and instantly swam upward. However, the aura of the immortal emperor caused all the creatures within 1,000 miles of Lin Ray to flee quickly wherever Lin Ray flew past. However, at this moment, the middle of the Pacific Ocean was no longer a desolate place. At this moment, there were very few people here. There were thousands of people in the air, on the surrounding islands, and on the water. There were black people, white people, and yellow-skinned people here. There were also people with red eyes, blue eyes, and black eyes. These people were all cultivators. However, they cultivated different Tao. Some cultivated the Tao of demon, while others cultivated the Tao of blood. This Tao was a little bit similar to the law of blood that Lin Ray accidentally obtained. There were cultivators who cultivated the Tao of immortality, and there were cultivators who cultivated the Tao of demon. These people all dared to come when they suddenly felt a huge pressure. Father, why do you think there is such a powerful aura here? This aura seems to have never appeared in the world. However, this time, it appeared in the Pacific Ocean. Do you think it will be a threat to our Wuxia? At this time, among the people of Wuxia, a very young man said to the middle-aged man with a serious expression after feeling the huge pressure. At the same time, the people of Wuxia next to him were also people from various sects and families. At this moment, they had all come here to see the strong man. Who knows? Anyway, I'm sure that there is no such person in the world who can release such a strong pressure. Unless he is back. At this moment, the middle-aged man's him made everyone present seem to be excited. Subconsciously, the people of Wuxia all pricked up their ears and listened carefully to the conversation between the father and son. Who? Father, who are you talking about? When the young man heard his father's words, he didn't understand why he didn't know who his father was talking about, so he asked curiously. However, at this moment, the middle-aged man seemed to be immersed in his memories. His face was full of emotions. Alas! Grandpa, your ancestor, told me this. He said that Big Grandpa said that he would return in 300 years. Moreover, Big Grandpa left our planet at that time. However, now that the 300-year period is approaching, I think Big Grandpa should be back. The person who spoke was Long Feng's son, Long Yi. The young man beside him was Long Ye's son, Long Huatian, Long Feng's great-grandson. What? Ancestor? Hearing the name of the person his father was talking about, doubts arose in his heart. He had never heard of this person before. SSSS. However, these words were heard by the others. At this moment, everyone began to suspect that what Long Yi said was true. They had all heard that back then, that person could barge into the Long family alone. However, not long after, he seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth. However, when they heard it again, it turned out to be like this. Sigh. Maybe not. It's been 300 years. I don't know if Big Grandfather still remembers his family on this planet. At this point, Long Ye's eyes were filled with grief. Then, his body trembled uncontrollably. However, just as everyone was making wild guesses, a tsunami suddenly erupted on the surface of the sea. A man with purple hair, dressed in Taoist robes, a purple jade golden crown on his head, and a piece of 10,000-year-old warm jade on his waist appeared. He looked very handsome and was very young. The appearance of the man caused everyone to grow nervous. At the same time, Linley, who had just emerged from the water, was also shocked to see so many people appear. Damn, what's going on? Why are there so many people here? Although Lin Rei didn't understand why there were so many people here, he could see the panic and fear in their eyes. Moreover, Lin Rei realized that almost all the cultivators here seemed to be from all over the world. Humph, you still have the nerve to say that. Lu Ying is an immortal venerable. There aren't even immortal venerables here. There aren't many Mahayana realm cultivators here. Moreover, after taking a deep breath, Lin Rei really wanted to kick the little dragon's words. Moreover, TSK, this planet is so small. A casual teleportation can make this planet turn around. Tell me, how could they not feel Lu Ying's cultivation? Of course, Lin Rei could understand what he was saying. Then, he floated in the air expressionlessly and said coldly to everyone, "You all, I'm only here today to settle a personal matter. So, you all can leave." After speaking, Lin Rei wanted to turn around and fly back to Yanjing, Huaxia. However, from the corner of his eye, he saw Long Huatian among the Huaxia crowd. He was full of curiosity. And at this moment, a figure appeared in his mind. This figure looked very similar to the man he had just scanned. In addition, Linley could sense a hint of a bloodline connection between him and the man. Hee, you must be the descendant of Feng. Since you're here, I'll give you a hand. Then, in front of everyone's eyes, Lin Rei released his spiritual energy and instantly wrapped it around Long Huatian's body. With a teleportation, they disappeared on the spot. In an instant, just an instant, the two disappeared without a trace in front of everyone. It must be Grandpa, it must be Grandpa. At this moment, when Long Yi saw his son being taken away by a powerhouse, he was even more certain of the authenticity of this matter. However, Long Ye's performance shocked everyone, and there was a trace of envy in their eyes. However, at this moment, the cultivators all over the world were panicking. Of course, except for the Huaxia side, everyone else began to fly back to their own countries. This was because they had seen a powerhouse from Huaxia. This matter was very serious, so they had to report it quickly. Everyone's departure made the Huaxia people who had come here feel relieved. However, at this moment, everyone was secretly making their own plans. No, I have to tell Grandpa quickly. After waiting for so long, Grandpa should be very excited. Thinking of this, Long Yi immediately rode his sword and flew quickly toward Yanjing, Huaxia. Like a stream of light, he disappeared into the sky. In Yanjing, in front of one of the villas in Tianwan Garden, two people suddenly appeared in front of the villa without making a sound and without arousing anyone's suspicion. At this moment, there seemed to be no one in the villa. However, the moment Lin Rei appeared, the people in the villa felt the arrival of Lin Rei. Then, with a teleportation, he instantly appeared beside Lin Rei. When the people in the villa saw Lin Rei's face, they knelt on the ground with a plop and kowtowed respectfully with eyes full of respect. Tian Hu, a member of the dark department of the Xuanzong sect, greets the sect leader. Looking at the person who suddenly appeared, Lin Rei was not surprised at all. This was because Lin Rei had already expected his appearance. However, Long Huatian, who was brought back by Lin Rei, was indeed very surprised at this moment. This was because people who could teleport were already considered top existences in this world, or rather, in his knowledge. However, he did not expect that there would be such a powerful existence living here. Hee, very good. After guarding for 300 years, you really did not let me down. Here, you can cultivate to the peak of the celestial immortal realm with your own talent. At this moment, Lin Rei was very optimistic about this disciple in front of him. If he had known that Lin Rei could cultivate to the peak of the celestial immortal realm in this place where there was no celestial spiritual qi, and even the spiritual qi was shockingly scarce. Therefore, Lin Rei had to reward him well. Yes, sect leader. Although I am here, I do not dare to forget that I am a member of the dark department for a moment. I do not dare to forget my own cultivation for a moment. However, the spiritual qi here is really lacking. I can't cultivate to the celestial immortal realm anymore. Lin Rei understood Tian Hu's words. Well, it's okay. Your mission here is over. When we return to the celestial realm, I will let you enjoy very high treatment. From today onwards, you will be the outer sect leader of the Xuanzong sect. Tian Hu had thought about the reward, but he did not expect to be rewarded with such a high position as the outer sect leader. For a moment, his loyalty to the Xuanzong sect became even more unswerving. Yes, I will continue to work hard. However, this scene fell into the eyes of Tian Hu, not to mention the conversation between Lin Rei and Tian Hu. What celestial realm? What outer sect leader? At this moment, Long Huatian could not wrap his head around it. Well, you can get up. After saying this to Tian Hu, who was kneeling on the ground, he did not wait for the two of them. He directly pushed open the door and walked into the villa. 300 years have passed. I did not expect this place to still be so magnificent. Looking at the villa that was still the same as before, Lin Rei's heart was filled with a sense of familiarity. Yes, young master. I have never touched anything here. Moreover, I have always used my spiritual qi to protect this place so that it would not be burned away by the passage of time. Hearing Tian Hu's words, Lin Rei did not say anything. He closed his eyes and enjoyed the familiar surroundings in the courtyard of the villa. After a long time, Lin Rei finally spoke. Kid, are you the descendant of Long Feng? Heir. That, I am. The sudden voice made Long Huatian a little overwhelmed. However, in front of such a powerful person, he was very nervous, but he still stuttered out the words. Sigh. How is Long Feng? Is he well? Lin Rei hesitated for a while, but still decided to ask about his younger brother's situation. However, Long Huatian's answer surprised Lin Rei. Great-grandfather is very well. Moreover, other than arguing with great-grandmother every day, great-grandfather spends the rest of his time cultivating. Good. As long as he is well, I am at ease. Chapter 427. The longing in Lin Rei's eyes gradually faded away. Since he had received news of his brother's safety, he did not want to break this ending. Sigh, since you're my brother's descendant and your immortal talent is not bad, I'll help you. At least you'll have the ability to protect them. Since he did not want to acknowledge his brother, it was fine to promote his descendant and let him protect the Long family. Immediately, a June-breaking elixir appeared in Lin Rei's hand. He handed it to Long Huatian and said seriously, this elixir is called June-breaking elixir. It's a kind of elixir that can increase your aptitude, cultivation, and realm. Your current realm is too low and you're only in the fasting period. If you eat it, it will bring you unexpected benefits. Hearing this, Long Huatian's eyes widened. He stared blankly at the elixir that could increase his realm. Suddenly, a look of joy appeared on his face. Moreover, he had never heard of the June-breaking elixir. Even his great-grandfather had not heard of it. However, he was reluctant to eat such a good elixir. Senior, I want to give this elixir to my father. His aptitude is better than mine. Moreover, if he eats it, he will definitely. Before Long Huatian could finish his words, Lin Rei's face turned cold and he said, You're so slow. If I say it's for you, then no one can eat it. Eat it. Then, Lin Rei, who was holding the elixir, threw it into Long Huatian's mouth. The elixir turned into a streamer and shot into Long Huatian's mouth. The elixir melted in his mouth. Before he could feel it, the elixir turned into a stream of energy and entered Long Huatian's 5 viscera and 6 bowels. Use your cultivation method to absorb the elixir and condense the gold core. Lin Rei knew about the June-breaking elixir very well. Although this June-breaking elixir was made by Lin Rei by chance, it was not inferior to a heaven-grade elixir. However, the effect of the elixir was even more overbearing. For a child who was in the fasting period, eating it was undoubtedly courting death. However, with a celestial emperor like Lin Rei by his side, it was a different story. As the saying goes, what is done cannot be undone. He felt that his body was full of domineering energy. Then, he listened to Lin Rei's order and sat down cross-legged. He began to use his family's cultivation method and began to refine the energy. From there, he circulated it in his dantian and condensed a golden core, stepping into the golden core stage. Remember, no matter how painful it is later, you must keep your mind clear. Once you fall unconscious, you may never wake up again. You may even explode and die. Remember. However, after hearing Lin Rei's words, Long Huatian became nervous for a moment. He never thought that this kind of pill would be so powerful. Of course, what Lin Rei said was not a lie, but the truth. Swish. A stream of celestial spiritual qi was released and instantly wrapped around Long Huatian, who was sitting cross-legged. At this moment, no matter how powerful the pill was, it was useless. Moreover, the celestial spiritual qi that wrapped around Long Huatian's body could slowly adjust the medicinal properties of Long Huatian's body. Then, under the operation of the cultivation method, Long Huatian could condense a golden core. Tian Hu, you stay here and watch. I have roughly calculated that one army-breaking pill can raise him from the fasting stage to the peak of the late stage of the out-of-body stage. This kind of pill is very powerful. You stay here and watch. If there is anything, try to contact me. I will go out to do something. If anyone comes to find me, remember, no matter who it is, tell them that I have left, understand? Now that the matter was settled, Lin Rei wanted to go out and bring the families of his 3 brothers to the celestial world. Yes, young master, I understand. Hearing Tian Hu's response, Lin Rei nodded and then disappeared with a teleportation. However, at this moment, in the deepest part of the Long family's villa in Beijing, a person suddenly rushed in and shouted as he walked. Grandpa is back, Grandpa is back. The person who shouted was Long Huatian's father, Long Yi, who was breaking through at this moment. After confirming that the senior was his family's ancestor, Long Yi tried his best to rush back to Beijing. He did not care about others blocking the way and broke into the place where Long Feng was in seclusion. Boom! Suddenly, a wave of pressure came out and directly froze Long Yi, who was anxiously shouting, on the spot. He could not move and could not even speak. Then, after a while, a middle-aged man walked out from inside, followed by a beautiful woman. However, his behavior was very mature, as if the two of them had been together for a long time. However, the man looked at Long Yi coldly and said in a reprimanding tone, "Humph, didn't I say that no matter who it is, the Long family is not allowed to break into this place without permission? Not only did you break in, but you also made a lot of noise here. Don't you know what the taboo is for cultivators? The taboo is to disturb others when they are cultivating. Long Yi, who was frozen by the pressure, wanted to explain, but he could not speak at all. In the end, he could only teach seriously with a wronged expression. Just like that, after nagging for a long time, the man's anger finally subsided, and the pressure was instantly withdrawn from Long Ye's body. Plop. Perhaps it was because he had been frozen for a long time, and one of his legs was frozen, he lost his balance. The moment the pressure was withdrawn, Long Yi fell to the ground. Humph, you're not serious at all. You're already the head of the family, yet you're still so careless. Looks like it's time to teach your father a lesson. How did he become like this? If Long Ye's father heard these words, he would definitely want to cry, but no tears would come out. However, Long Yi, who was sitting on the ground, did not listen to these words at all. Instead, he hurriedly stood up and said to the man, "Great-grandfather, that powerhouse who suddenly appeared seems to be the big brother you mentioned, my great-grandfather." Boom! The moment Long Yi said that Lin Rei had returned, the man's mind went completely blank. He stood there in a daze, filled with longing. Drip. Unknowingly, a drop of tear flowed out of the man's eye and dripped onto the ground. After a long time, the man finally regained his composure. At this moment, the man was even more impatient than Long Yi. You said that my big brother is back. Is that true? Is it true? The great-grandfather that Long Yi mentioned was Lin Rei's younger brother, Long Feng. The woman beside him was his wife, Shui Manqing, Shui Maner's younger sister. Yes, it should be confirmed. At that time, in the Pacific Ocean. In order to make sure that the person she saw was Lin Li, Long Yi recounted everything that she had seen in the Pacific Ocean in detail. Just like that, the old ancestor seemed to have sensed the bloodline power in Tian, so he took Tian away. After he finished telling the story, Long Feng's face was covered in tears. However, it was not because of sadness, but because of joy. At this moment, Long Feng had a smile on his face like a happy child. No, I have to hurry and tell mother. She has been waiting for Big Brother for 300 years. She has always felt that she owed Big Brother, so she stayed in the temple all these years and refused to come out. Now that Big Brother is back, I believe mother will be very happy. After saying that, Long Feng walked into the depths of the temple without saying a word. After a while, he arrived at the door of a room. He looked slightly nervous and without any hesitation, he knocked on the door. Knock knock knock. Knock knock knock. The knocking on the door woke the person in the room up. Then, a woman's voice sounded. The voice sounded desolate and sorrowful. Who is it? Upon hearing this voice, Long Feng, who was originally excited and smiling, burst into tears. He said with a trembling voice, "Mother. It's Feng. I'm here to tell you a piece of good news. Big Brother is back. My big brother is back." The moment Long Feng finished speaking, there was the sound of something falling on the ground. Not long after, the door in front of him was opened from the inside. Suddenly, Long Feng was even more excited. If he had known earlier, this door had been closed for many years. Now, it was finally open. A haggard but elegant middle-aged woman walked out of the room. She grabbed Long Feng's arm cautiously and excitedly. Her hands were slightly trembling as she asked, "Is what you said true? Your big brother is really back?" "Well, yes. Just now, Long Yi said that Big Brother brought Long Huatian back to Yanjing. I think Big Brother should be in the villa in Tianwan Garden at this moment." Whoosh! The moment Long Feng said the news, before he could sense what had happened, there was already no one in front of him. Hee, as expected, Big Brother is the best medicine. Mother's illness has finally been cured. However, if he goes, then will Big Brother. He was the father that Lin Rei refused to admit. He was a cultivator, so it was normal for him to live for 100 years. Sigh, forget it. Since it's already like this, why should I care so much? Since he's going, why don't we all go and use family affection to make Big Brother dare to move? As he spoke, his divine sense instantly covered the entire Long family's villa. However, his voice appeared in the minds of his descendants. All of you, go to Tian Garden. Your ancestor, my big brother, is back. Go and pay your respects to him. Call your descendants. If anyone dares to not go, they will be expelled from the Long family and will never be a member of the Long family. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Feng teleported with his aura and disappeared from the villa. However, at this moment, Linley, who was hovering in the air above the Murong family home, didn't know that news of his return had already spread. Furthermore, the people he didn't want to disturb had all arrived at Heavenly Bay Garden and were waiting for him. Sigh, 100 years have passed. I don't know if Second Brother's family is still alive in this world. Without hesitation, Lin Rei did not need to hide anymore since he was here. He simply landed in the central area of the Murong family from the sky. Chapter 428. Whoosh. The moment Lin Rei appeared in the middle of the Murong family, two cultivators at the middle stage of the body integration stage appeared beside Lin Rei at the same time. Humph, kid, you're a human. Don't you know that this is the Murong family's territory? Lin Rei did not care about the two people who had appeared. However, their eyes were filled with disdain and arrogance. In an instant, Lin Rei was speechless. Hee, two ignorant juniors dare to put on airs in front of me. Really? Looking at the two of them, Lin Rei did not want to say anything. After all, he had come here to take away his second brother, Murong Yu's parents and sister. Lin Rei did not want to waste more time. Therefore, when he saw the two of them putting on airs, he did not argue and only shook his head. I'm here to find Murong Yu's parents from 300 years ago. If it's convenient, please tell me. If it's not convenient, then I'll look for them myself. Lin Rei was a proud person. In front of this group of ants, Lin Rei had unconsciously looked down on them. In Lin Rei's opinion, what he had said just now was nothing. However, the two people in front of him were secretly looking down on them. They did not put them in their eyes at all. In an instant, the two of them lost their temper. Hee, what a joke. If someone casually came here like you, then wouldn't the Murong family become a market? Looking at the two of them, Lin Rei already knew that it was impossible to get information about his second brother's parents from these two. Boom. Suddenly, a terrifying pressure was emitted from Lin Rei's body. To them, Lin Rei had only used the pressure of a peak Earth immortal. If he had used the pressure of a heaven immortal, this group of people would have been suppressed to death. To Lin Rei, he only wanted to find an old friend. Moreover, this was his brother's family. He had no reason to cause trouble here. The pressure exploded. The two people who had their eyes above their heads were now so scared that they couldn't speak. Moreover, they were suppressed to the ground by Lin Rei's pressure. They couldn't get up at all, let alone speak. I'm Lin Rei. Please don't be offended by my sudden visit. Today, I'm here to take Murong Yu's family away. If I've offended you, I'm here to apologize. Lin Rei's voice instantly exploded in the ears of the Murong family, whether it was the servants or the direct descendants of the Murong family, whether it was those who were in isolated cultivation or not. In an instant, everyone rushed over happily from where the pressure was. However, at this moment, in a secret room in the depths of the Murong family, a man and a woman smiled excitedly when they heard Lin Rei's voice. Then, they restrained their cultivation, stood up and pushed open the door to their isolated cultivation. They quickly walked towards Lin Rei's location. Slowly, more and more people began to gather in the central area of the Murong clan. Men and women, young and old, all of them had arrived. When they saw Linley in the center, their eyes were filled with awe and veneration. As for the young girls, their eyes were filled with envy, worship and even a trace of love. This made Lin Rei shake his head helplessly. He ignored them and quietly waited for the arrival of his second brother's parents. After a while, a couple arrived in front of Lin Rei. Lin Rei was a person. He had met Lin Rei's parents before. At this moment, his second brother's parents didn't look any different from 300 years ago. Other than the vicissitudes of life in their eyes, nothing else had changed. Uncle, auntie, I haven't seen you for 300 years. You're still as elegant as ever. Lin Rei's words instantly made the two of them feel overwhelmed by favor from their superior. However, after thinking about it, they felt relieved. Sigh. What graceful bearing, they've all become old farts. We're all family, there's no need for such pleasantries. However, as she spoke, his second brother's mother seemed to have something to say but hesitated. It was as if she had something she wanted to ask Lin Rei. Don't worry, auntie. My second brother is doing very well. He's doing very well. Initially, I had wanted to bring them back with me, but things had been rushed and I didn't have time to receive them. So, I'm the only one who has returned. Oh. When she heard Lin Rei's words, his second brother's mother's face clearly showed a hint of disappointment. However, she quickly adjusted herself. Oh, by the way, where's my younger sister? Lin Rei's words stunned the two of them. Then, they told him about their daughter's situation. My younger sister is doing very well now. Ever since you, left, she joined the Kunlun sect in order to catch up with you,'s cultivation. She has only returned a few times in the past 300 years. The last time she came back, she was already in the ascension stage. More than 50 years have passed. As for her current situation, we really don't know. When they heard about their daughter's situation, their faces were full of pride. Okay. Uncle, auntie, wait for me to pick you up. Before I leave, I'll make a trip to the Kunlun sect to pick up my younger sister. If she cultivates here, she can at most reach the Mahayana stage. It'll be very difficult for her to advance any further. After saying that, Lin Rei didn't waste any more words. He immediately shot out a stream of immortal spiritual energy and wrapped it around his second brother's parents. After he released his divine sense and locked onto the Su family, he teleported away and disappeared. However, before he left, he lowered his head and looked at the two people who had been disrespectful to him. Lin Rei ignored them. After all, those who didn't know were innocent. However, they couldn't escape punishment. A stream of immortal spiritual energy shot into their bodies, causing them to suffer heart-wrenching pain every day. However, there were also benefits. If the two of them could refine the numerous streams of immortal spiritual energy that he had left behind, he believed that they could go to the cultivation world, or even the immortal world in the future. After Lin Rei disappeared, the Murong family returned to normal. After that, Lin Rei went to the Su family and the Wang family. Their parents were still alive. Before Lin Rei left 300 years ago, he had opened up their meridians and wished them success in their cultivation. He had also given them cultivation methods and spirit stones. Therefore, in these 300 years, as long as they didn't meet any strong cultivators and die, there wouldn't be any danger. At this time, although Wang Hong's family couldn't be compared to his own family, it was still a first-class life. They lived in a small villa and had a company. Everything was pretty good. Auntie, uncle, let's go. Boss wanted to bring you to the immortal world for a long time. However, due to various reasons, I'm here now. Seeing the reluctance of his boss's parents, Lin Rei didn't want to waste any more time. If he wasted any more time here, the sects in the immortal world would be in more danger. Let's go. After saying that, the two of them seemed to have used up all their strength. Lin Rei was very happy because the matter was settled. He didn't say anything else. So what if they were reluctant to leave? He believed that once they reached the immortal world, they wouldn't have any thoughts about the mortal world. After that, immortal chi wrapped around his parents and left. However, Lin Rei didn't go home because he wanted to pick up Murong Yu's sister. Lin Rei's divine sense covered the entire aqua blue planet. Moreover, the entire aqua blue planet wasn't as big as Lin Rei's Xuanzong sect. Soon, his divine sense found a girl who was living the same life as his second brother. After locking onto her, Lin Rei teleported to the girl's side. As for the Kunlun sect's protective array, Lin Rei could destroy it with a sneeze. Lin Rei's appearance made Murong Shui aware. She immediately opened her eyes. The moment she saw Lin Rei, Murong Shui was stunned. Her eyes were filled with disbelief as she asked in a trembling voice, "Brother. Brother Lei, is that you? Brother Lei?" Murong Shui was no stranger to him at all. This was because there was an awkward incident in the past. Murong Shui had once confessed to Lin Rei. However, at that time, Lin Rei was still young, so he didn't accept her. But to Murong Shui, it was her first love, a secret love. She still loved Lin Li even to this day. The moment she saw Lin Rei again, the love in Murong Shui's heart couldn't help but burst out. She threw herself into Lin Rei's arms without caring about anything else. Moreover, Murong Shui didn't seem to notice the parents behind Lin Rei at all. However, at this moment, Murong Shui's parents didn't care. They still watched this scene with a smile on their faces and let it happen. For a moment, Lin Rei felt helpless. Then, he hurriedly coughed twice, pushed Murong Shui away, and pointed behind him. "Ah!" Murong Shui let out a scream. Perhaps because she was too close to Lin Rei hurriedly covered his ears the moment Murong Shui screamed. "Huh, Shui, it's okay. Go on, go on." After hearing her father's teasing, Murong Shui's face suddenly turned red from neck to head. She couldn't wait to find a hole to hide in. Ha ha ha. Looking at their daughters, the parents of the three families laughed heartily at the same time. However, Lin Rei was miserable. He was afraid that there would be more such things in the future. In order to relieve the embarrassment, and more importantly, to prevent himself from being in such an embarrassing situation, Lin Rei hurriedly changed the topic. "Well, Shui, this time I'm here to take you to another place to cultivate. Do you agree?" In fact, Lin Rei knew that this sentence was obviously nonsense. However, he still asked, because this was the basic respect. I'm willing. There was no hesitation at all. Moreover, the previous embarrassing scene disappeared without a trace. "Well, then, let's go." Before Murong Shui could speak, he wrapped her up and teleported away from the Kunlun sect. He came and went without a trace. No one in the Kunlun sect noticed Lin Rei's trace. At this moment, in the villa of Tianwan Garden in Yanjing, Long Feng, Long Ro, and Ouyang Jing's descendants had arrived early. However, when they arrived, they found that Lin Rei was not there. There were only the junior Long Hua Tian, who was improving his cultivation, and Tian Hu, whom they had known for a long time. However, they heard from Tian Hu that Lin Rei had left. However, Ouyang Jing didn't believe Tian Hu's words at all, because he knew that his son hadn't left, because Tian Hu hadn't left. Sure enough, Lin Rei had expected this scene, but he didn't expect it to be so fast. After leaving the Kunlun sect, Lin Rei locked the location of his home with his divine sense and teleported to the door of the villa. However, the moment he appeared, everyone in the villa sensed it. Chapter 429. The moment he sensed his son's return, Ouyang Jing got up and rushed to the door of the villa. He wanted to see his son as soon as possible. Long Feng and Long Ro also followed closely behind Ouyang Jing. The excitement on their faces was indescribable. However, Lin Rei sensed everything in the villa the moment he arrived at the door. He didn't try to avoid them. Anyway, it was already like this. "Uncles, aunties, and Shui, you can go in and rest for a while. After I'm done with the things here, I'll bring you to see eldest brother, second brother, and see." "Okay, then we'll go in first." They all knew some things about Lin Li. After all, they were all people of that era. How could they not know? Of course, the parents of the eldest, Wang Hong, did not know. But for 2 of the 5 great clans, they naturally knew the whole story. The moment they finished speaking, the door opened with a creak. Hearing the sound, Lin Rei turned around. In an instant, he was stunned on the spot. Ouyang Jing's face appeared in front of Lin Rei's eyes. This figure was the one he wanted to see the most in his heart for 300 years. He originally had a lot to say, but now that he saw him, he didn't say a word. Murong Shui and the others were tactful. The moment they saw this scene, they nodded to him and then walked past Ouyang Jing into the villa. It was quiet. Only Lin Rei and his family were left at the door. The scene was very quiet. No one came to disturb them. Big brother, you're back at noon." After a long time, the quiet scene was finally broken by Long Feng's voice. The moment he spoke, Long Feng's whole body went into Lin Rei's arms. He was like a child who saw his own adult, seeking protection. It wasn't just Long Feng. Long Ro was the same. They hadn't seen each other for 300 years. After they disappeared, it was Lin Rei who took care of them. Now that she saw her big brother again, how could she not be excited? Following Long Feng's actions, Long Ro also threw herself into Lin Rei's embrace, and immediately started sobbing like a little girl. Looking at his younger siblings, Lin Li felt as if he had returned to the time before he had become a cultivator and before he had met Xiaolong. Seeing that his younger siblings were still as reliant on him as before, Lin Li was very happy. All right. How old are you? You must be 300 years old. Why are you still crying like a child? If your juniors see you like this, it would be strange if they don't look for you. Brother. Hearing his big brother's words, Long Feng did not mind, but Long Ro was not willing. After all, a girl's age was the biggest taboo for a girl. All right, get up. Looking at his sister, Lin Rei didn't say anything. He quickly pushed the 2 of them away and went to Ouyang Jing. With a plop, Lin Rei directly fell to the ground without saying anything. His eyes were filled with guilt. "Mother, I am back." These few words, Lin Rei seemed to have exhausted all his strength. After saying these words, Lin Rei's whole body seemed to have been drained of strength, and he went limp for a moment. However, he immediately recovered. Without speaking, Lin Rei, who was kneeling on the ground, looked at his mother who didn't speak. He didn't dare to get up and just stayed on the ground like this. After a long time, Ouyang Jing's voice entered Lin Rei's ears. Her tone was so gentle and so kind. "Get up." After hearing their mother's words, the siblings immediately came to Lin Rei's side and helped Lin Rei up with one arm on each side. "You still know to come back. It's been almost 300 years. I thought you had forgotten me and your siblings. If your brother's descendant didn't see you today and say that he felt a connection with you, I really wouldn't know that you're back. Tell me, do you not want to see us now that you're back?" Hearing his mother's words, Lin Rei blushed with shame. Needless to say, if they didn't come, Lin Rei wouldn't necessarily see them. Because their lives were the safest. Although they couldn't live as long as the heavens, at least they could live a stable life. They didn't have to live on the edge of life and death every day like he did. They didn't have to live a life where they didn't know when they would die. Lin Rei didn't want his family to live like this. Perhaps they had their own way of living, but Lin Rei was very unwilling in his heart. However, now it seemed that everything was ruined. At this moment, Lin Rei was very regretful. If he had known, he wouldn't have taken Long Huatian away. "Mother, actually Lin Rei, who was just about to explain, was suddenly choked by his mother's words. "I know you don't want us to live your life, but we want to live together as a family. Moreover, you said that when we meet again after 100 years, you will take us with you and reunite as a family. I believe you haven't forgotten this sentence." Listening to his mother's explanation, Lin Rei was completely convinced. Moreover, Lin Rei had decided to take them to the immortal realm. Okay, mother. Since you've decided, then I have nothing to say. In that case, come with me later. I'll take you away from here, but don't regret it when the time comes. There's no telling when you'll die there, and I can't always be by your side. The warning before leaving still had to be said. After all, this concerned their lives. Lin Rei didn't want to force it. Ha ha ha, big brother, it's been 300 years. What haven't we seen? Don't worry. Hearing their big brother's promise, Long Feng and Long Ro laughed. They felt that their big brother's words were a little superfluous. 300 years, even a person who went out of the cultivation world knew that this was a dog-eat-dog world, not to mention that they had been practicing for 300 years. Oh, okay, I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. Hearing their words, Lin Li didn't say anything else. He went to Ouyang Jing's side, took her hand, and brought her to the courtyard of the villa. At this moment, Long Hua Tian, who was still improving his cultivation, was still there, and Tian, who was still following his orders to guard Long Hua Tian's side. However, there were more than a dozen people in the courtyard. Lin Rei could feel that they were more or less related to him by blood. Without thinking, he knew that they were the descendants of his brother and sister. After all, 300 years had passed, so it was natural to have so many descendants. Long Ting, come here. This is your uncle, my big brother. When you see him in the future, be as respectful as you are to me, understand? Hearing this, Lin Li looked in the direction of his younger brother's voice. At that moment, a middle-aged man who could not be considered to be delicate and handsome, but who could still be considered to be decent, came over to Lin Li the moment he heard Long Feng's words. He knelt on the ground and spoke with a respectful gaze. Hello, uncle. My name is Long Ting. If uncle needs anything in the future, feel free to tell me. I will do my best. Looking at his brother's descendants, Lin Rei was very happy. After all, these were the descendants of the Lin family. Here, I came out in a hurry today, so I don't have anything to give you. I'll give you this water cloud folding fan. Then, a very expensive folding fan appeared in his hand, and he immediately handed it to Long Ting. This action stunned everyone present. They were all cultivators, so they could sense the energy fluctuations on the folding fan. However, what Lin Rei said just now was that there was nothing good. In their eyes, this was simply a priceless treasure. However, Long Ting, who was kneeling on the ground, wanted to take the fan, but at the same time, he glanced at his father. Well, put it away. Since it's a gift from your uncle, just take it. As soon as these words came out, Long Ting was even more unrestrained. He took the folding fan in his hand and looked like he couldn't put it down, which made Lin Rei feel a little helpless. Come and pay your respects to me. You don't know the rules at all. At this moment, Long Ting finished paying his respects. After hearing Long Feng's shout, the other juniors hurriedly came to Lin Rei and knelt on the ground. More than a dozen people all paid their respects, but Lin Rei still didn't mean to be stingy. Then, according to the number of people, Lin Rei took out a head-like low-grade immortal weapon from his storage ring. Lin Rei also had top-grade immortal weapons and top-grade immortal weapons, but their cultivation was low and they couldn't control them at all. Therefore, Lin Rei didn't take them out. Thank you, uncle, great-grandpa, great-grandpa. Ha ha ha. Hearing the way his younger brothers and sisters addressed him, he really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In the immortal realm, at his age, he was at most an insensible child, and at his age, no one was willing to waste their time in this place. However, at this moment, there was a group of juniors in front of him. Suddenly, Lin Rei was filled with emotion. Well, all of you, get up. What? The moment when everyone stood up, suddenly, there was a fluctuation of spiritual power behind him. Then, Lin Rei turned around and looked at Long Hua Tian, who was improving his cultivation, with a mysterious smile on his face. Oh, I didn't expect this little guy's talent to be so strong. In such a short time, he has improved his cultivation to this stage. At this time, Long Huatian, who was improving his cultivation, had the help of Lin Rei's army-breaking pill. At this moment, he had broken the army-breaking pill and formed the nascent soul, and then the nascent soul was adjusted to the out-of-body stage. Originally, Long Huatian thought that he would only be able to reach the out-of-body stage, but he didn't expect that just now, with the help of the army-breaking pill, Long Huatian's cultivation would be forcefully promoted to the early stage of the separating spirit stage. Well, since you have broken through to this stage, don't bite off more than you can chew. This will only cause trouble for your future cultivation. Although Long Huatian had reached this stage, Lin Rei had designated him to only be in the out-of-body stage. However, at this moment, he had exceeded the designated stage, which would inevitably hinder his future cultivation. He had to completely consolidate his cultivation before he could continue to improve. Otherwise, if his Taoist foundation was not stable, it would be like building a house. If the foundation was not stable, it would collapse and everyone would die. Chapter 430. Long Huatian, who wanted to make progress because of his breakthrough, suddenly heard Lin Rei's voice. In an instant, he stopped the thought of continuing to improve and restrained his cultivation pressure. A pair of closed eyes slowly opened, and a sharp light flashed in Long Huatian's pupils. At this time, the feeling Long Huatian gave people was completely different from before. At this moment, Long Huatian gave people a sense of ethereal, as if he was a little integrated with everything around him. The moment he saw Lin Rei, Long Huatian stood up and quickly came in front of Lin Rei. He cupped his hands and said to Lin Rei, "Senior, thank you for your kindness in giving me the medicine. I, Long Huatian, will definitely repay your kindness." Bang! A loud knock landed directly on Long Huatian's head. Ah! A scream came from Long Huatian's mouth. His face was contorted in pain. Originally, he was in a good mood because of the breakthrough, but suddenly, such a thing happened. No one could bear it. Without knowing it, Long Huatian directly changed his body and cursed, "Damn you." But when he saw that the person who hit him was his father, Long Huatian's face suddenly turned pale. His body instinctively took 2 steps back, as if he wanted to escape. However, when he thought of what he had just said, Long Huatian couldn't help but slap his own mouth and muttered to himself, "Damn it, if I had known earlier, I would have seen who he knew first. Now he's dead." At this time, Long Huatian was extremely regretful. If he had known that the person who hit him was his father, even if he killed him, he wouldn't have said a word. As for Long Yi, after hearing his son's words, he was stunned on the spot. It could be seen that his face was obviously cold, which showed his mood at the moment. "I'll beat you to death, you little bastard. You dare to scold your father, do you want to die?" In an instant, Long Yi moved. A bamboo stick appeared out of nowhere and began a chase between father and son. This scene made everyone present laugh. They had never seen such a scene before. Looking at them, Lin Rei's mood improved a lot. However, thinking about the immortal world, Lin Rei became anxious. All right, stop messing around. I'm leaving. Mother, brother, sister, I'll take you away." When the 3 families heard Lin Rei's words, they hurriedly walked out and stood behind Lin Rei. The moment the father and son duo heard Lin Rei's words, they stopped what they were doing and came to Long Feng's side with a serious and respectful look on their faces. "Big brother, about that, it's not just us. Let my juniors follow as well. After all, if I leave, they will have no backbone here. I think." Hearing his brother's words, Lin Rei looked at his sister. Sure enough, the moment their eyes met, Lin Rei knew that she was thinking the same thing. Sigh. "All right, since you think so, then let's follow together." Bringing 1 or 10 people was the same. There was no difference. Now that everything had been settled, there was no need for Linley to stay here any longer. "All right, the only thing you can do is relax your body. I'll put you into the bell of heaven and earth. Maybe you won't come out for a long time. But don't worry, as soon as we reach the destination, I'll release you immediately. This was Lin Rei's notice, not a preparation for them. Immediately, Lin Rei took out the bell of heaven and earth. His divine sense instantly enveloped all of them. With a thought, he put them all into the bell of heaven and earth. However, there was only one person that Lin Rei didn't put into the bell of heaven and earth. That was his mother, Ouyang Jing. When he was about to let his mother into the bell of heaven and earth, he saw his mother glancing outside the door with a worried look. Then, Lin Rei thought of something. At this moment, only the two of them were left in the villa. In order to avoid wasting time, Lin Rei didn't beat around the bush. He directly said what was on Ouyang Jing's mind. Do you want to take that person with you too? The straightforward question made Ouyang Jing nod his head without hiding anything. Yes, I can't bear to leave him here alone. I want you to take him with you. Is that okay? Logically speaking, a son shouldn't refuse his mother's request and hesitate. However, for Lin Rei, who didn't have a father to accompany him since he was young and was bullied by others, he was very sensitive to the word father. Although he had refused 300 years ago, for Lin Rei, who had been a father for more than 300 years, he hesitated. He didn't have the courage to refuse as decisively as he did 300 years ago. Instead, he hesitated. At this moment, Lin Rei was hesitating whether to take that person with him. I know that the knot in your heart hasn't been untied in the past 300 years. However, what I want to say is that he really loves you and cares about you very much. He loves me even more. On account of this, can you take him with you? His mother's words were like a 10,000-pound hammer, hammering down on Lin Li's hesitant heart again and again. Slowly, Lin Rei's heart was pried open by his mother's words. All right, I'll take him with me. Upon hearing that his son had agreed to his request, Ouyang Jing was extremely excited. However, when he heard Lin Li's words, he lost half of his initial excitement. However, you have to remember that I'm only doing this because he loves you and you love him. That's all. As for the rest, I won't agree. Besides, even if we reach our destination, I won't change my mind because of this. At this point, Lin Rei didn't give his mother any chance to speak. He wrapped her with his consciousness and dragged her into the heaven and earth bell. As for that person, since he had already promised his mother, he naturally had to keep his word. Immediately, his consciousness probed in the direction that his mother was looking at. Not far from the villa, the man that he would recognize even if he turned into ashes appeared within the range of his consciousness. He didn't even look at him. Without saying a word, he wrapped him with his consciousness and brought him into the heaven and earth bell. Now that everything had been settled, there was nothing left for him to linger on. Hee, are you ready to leave? The little dragon's voice sounded. Lin Rei nodded and replied, yes, quickly tell me. Is there any way to return to the immortal world as soon as possible? I'm willing to pay any price. Without any nonsense, the matter here was settled. However, the matter of the immortal world was still unknown. Although 2 immortal venerables were sent back to guard the sect, Lin Rei felt as if he had lost something these days. His heart was empty. Lin Rei was very worried about the situation in the immortal world. Therefore, he was willing to pay any price. However, the prerequisite was that he had to return to the immortal world as soon as possible. After speaking, Lin Rei was silent for a long time. However, the little dragon didn't make any sound and didn't give any answer. Then, just as Lin Rei was about to scold the little dragon, suddenly, the little dragon's voice sounded in his ears. Hee, actually, the price isn't that high. This thing is from the store. Even if I wanted to give you a discount, the system wouldn't agree. It would have been better if it didn't speak. Once it spoke, it was a bunch of nonsense. Suddenly, Lin Rei's annoyed mood exploded. Okay. Cut the nonsense and get to the point. Okay. Hearing Lin Rei's request, the little dragon quickly changed the topic to the main point. This thing is called the boundary-breaking shuttle. This thing can be said to be one of a kind. Just tell me how much it is or what the price is. Don't bother with these empty words. Lin Rei couldn't care less about the little dragon's empty words. He only wanted to know how much it was. How boring. Looking at the boring Lin Rei, the little dragon's smile disappeared and it instantly said righteously, "This thing is good stuff. 300,000 exchange points, not a single cent less. Moreover, it only takes 30 days to reach the immortal world from here, 30 days. Lin Rei was tempted by the number of days mentioned by the little dragon because this was something that could allow him to reach the immortal world as soon as possible. However, Lin Rei wasn't optimistic about the price. After all, it was 300,000 exchange points. Moreover, exchange points were much more valuable than spiritual energy. Even if he had hundreds of millions of spiritual stones, he wouldn't be able to exchange for 300,000 exchange points. How about it? It's up to you whether to use it or not. Hearing the little dragon's words, the originally hesitant Lin Rei instantly made up his mind. Okay, but I'll owe you 300,000 first. When I go back and break into a forbidden area and gather 300,000, I'll give it to you. What do you think? After saying so much, there was only one word in the little dragon's eyes: credit. After thinking for a long time, the little dragon nodded and agreed. Okay, in that case, let's go. Before Lin Rei could react, Lin Rei was taken out of planet Aqua Blue in an instant by the boundary-breaking shuttle. At this moment, the little dragon's voice sounded in the system. I've struck it big this time. The exchange points of 150,000 have been raised to 300,000. At this moment, the little dragon's face had the look of a profiteer. If Lin Rei were here to hear his words, he would definitely point at the little dragon's nose and curse him. Little dragon, enough is enough. If you lack exchange points to recover your energy, you can tell the host. I believe he'll definitely help you if he knows. After all, you've been through so much together. An electronically synthesized voice sounded, as if its words had poked the little dragon's heart. Instantly, a guilty look appeared on its face. Forget it. It's better this way. This way, he won't be in danger and I can recover my cultivation. Sigh, okay, do as you please. After listening to the little dragon's words, the system didn't say anything more. It didn't want to say anything more and disappeared immediately. At this moment, if Lin Rei were here, he would definitely be stunned. He would definitely be surprised that the system and the little dragon would team up to trick him. However, Lin Rei would probably never know. This was because the little dragon didn't care at all. Just as the system said, if Lin Rei knew, he would definitely help the little dragon. Chapter 431. Time passed by slowly. However, at this moment, the Xuanzong sect in the immortal world was gone. Everything had returned to normal, but it was inevitable that there was some sadness. However, in the immortal world, where the strong preyed on the weak and the survival of the fittest, this kind of thing was inevitable. If they could not recover from this setback because of this matter, then they might as well not cultivate. However, since they had chosen this path, they had to go on no matter what happened, because there was no turning back. The only way to leave and be completely free was to die. However, for the sects and clans that besieged the Xuanzong sect, their cultivation was sealed when they were captured by the 16 Azura clansmen. This seal was the seal of the Azura clan. No one could break it, not even the immortal venerables. It had been almost a year since the sect was attacked. However, everyone was still in a bad mood. The atmosphere was very oppressive because Lin Rei's wife was alive and his son was dead. They did not know how to explain this to their sect master. As for Jin Ling's and Jin An's corpses, they didn't act on their own. Instead, they joined Jin Ling's hands together and used the ice sealing technique to seal the mother and son's corpses together before placing them in the Tianshan's secret realm. The Tianshan's secret territory was where Lin Rei rested. Since the last incident, Bing began to organize the disciples to double the training. He increased the usual training from 1 time to 2 times, 3 times, in order to make himself stronger and protect the sect. Jian Feng's mood was the most complicated. He was very conflicted because of his father. Jian Feng had gone to see his father several times, but as soon as he arrived at the place where he was being held, he could no longer move because he was afraid to see his father and because he felt guilty. However, today, after such a long time, Jian Feng finally made up his mind. When he came to the door where Jian Wudi was being held, he did not hesitate and directly walked in. Mu Jian Wudi was not the only one here. This place was specially used to hold the sect masters, family masters, and emperor lords. Similarly, there was a seal left by the immortal venerables to prevent them from breaking the seal and escaping. Ta, ta, ta. The sound of footsteps rang out in the palace, instantly attracting the attention of Jian Wudi and the others who had nothing to do. They all turned to look at the entrance. Suddenly, Jian Feng walked towards them step by step. For a moment, Jian Wudi, who was sitting in the restriction, was stunned on the spot. He did not move. His eyes were wide open and he looked very surprised. You? Jian Wudi wanted to ask something, but he couldn't say another word. He thought of the scene when he was about to kill Jian Feng, and his killing intent towards Jian Feng came back to him. I'm here to see you. It was a simple sentence, but in Jian Wudi's eyes, it was like a sharp knife stabbing into his heart. It was extremely painful. His body began to tremble slightly, and tears began to well up in his eyes. Alas! Jian Wudi let out a sigh. His body and mind were filled with complicated feelings of self-blame and guilt. His eyes were filled with disappointment. Hee, don't come to see me. I wanted to kill you back then. Besides, you're now the head of the law enforcement department. Aren't you afraid of being criticized by others? At this time, Jian Wudi knew that Jian Feng's actions would definitely attract criticism. Although he wanted to kill Jian Feng before, he didn't want to do so at this moment. Future, criticism, do you think I care about these things? Look at what you've become. Tell me, why do you want to cultivate in the Xuanzong sect? Didn't you feel the mystery and vastness of the Xuanzong sect when you first came here? Isn't this enough to stop your greed? In an instant, after hearing his father's words, Jian Feng couldn't help crying. His words were full of helplessness and doubts. He didn't understand what was in it for Jian Feng to do this. Jian Feng knew that he was here, but he still did this. He didn't understand where his father, who taught him to be grateful and to distinguish right from wrong, had gone. However, his father, whose eyes were full of greed and killing intent, was so strange to him. Not only Jian Wudi, but Jian Feng also began to criticize the people of other sects, empires, and families as if he had gone crazy. Tell me, you're all people who can make the whole immortal realm tremble with a stomp of your feet. Why don't you just stay in your own territory? Why do you have to come here? Jian Feng, who was just reprimanding Jian Feng, suddenly started to roar. His voice was loud enough to alarm the guards outside. But surprisingly, they didn't come in. It was as if they hadn't heard him and were indifferent. Perhaps it was because he had finally vented his anger after such a long time. Jian Feng felt very tired at this moment. Alright, you guys can stay here. The sect master should be back soon. Your lives are probably going to end soon. Enjoy your lives for the next few days. After venting his anger, Jian Feng didn't want to talk to them anymore. Then, as soon as Lin Rui finished speaking, Jian Wudi and the others were stunned. They had thought that they were not fated to hear the word death in this life. However, when they heard the word death, they felt fear. They felt that the god of death really existed and was very close to them. Death, ha ha ha. At this moment, the heaven and earth path, who was with Jian Wudi, was also the culprit behind the entire incident. After hearing Jian Feng's words, it was unknown what he was thinking, but he suddenly burst out laughing. Moreover, the voice of heaven and earth seemed to be slightly disdainful. The heaven and earth path's laughter puzzled the passers-by. They didn't understand why they dared to laugh so presumptuously when they were already prisoners and on the chopping block. What are you laughing at? Do you still think you have a chance to live? You killed the wife and son of our sect leader. Do you think you can still live? When Jian Feng saw the heaven and earth path's expression, he was also puzzled. Then, his exhaustion faded away in an instant. Unconsciously, he blurted out his doubts. He, heaven and earth immortal venerable has received the news and is coming here. There are also several other immortal venerables. They should be here soon. Do you think the two celestial masters of your Xuanzong sect are comparable to the strength of the celestial masters of 5 directions? Hearing this, everyone was puzzled, including Jian Wudi. He was also a descendant of one of the immortal venerables, but he had never heard of this news. However, looking at the solemn expression on the face of the heaven and earth path, Jian Wudi felt that there might be a turning point in this matter. However, when Jian Feng heard the heaven and earth path's words, he laughed even more presumptuously and arrogantly than before. At the same time, he looked at the heaven and earth path as if he was looking at a fool. Celestial masters of 5 directions, then you have to take a look. Apart from the 3 major sects, the other 2 major sects have yet to take action. Therefore, you only have 3 celestial masters at most. Moreover, do you really think that our Xuanzong sect only has 2 immortal venerables? After saying that, Jian Feng gave everyone a mysterious smile and quickly disappeared from everyone's sight. However, when they heard Jian Feng's words, they froze on the spot. Their eyes were wide open and filled with disbelief. Their hearts were filled with shock. At this moment, they were all starting to doubt the truth of what Stir had said just now. If it were any other sect, they would be sure that it was fake. However, to the profound sect, a sect that they were afraid of, there was a 70% chance that it was true. However, not only were the people of the heaven and earth path shocked, but even Stirring, who had already walked out, was also shocked. When he thought of the arrival of the celestial masters of 5 directions, Jian Feng involuntarily quickened his pace and rushed towards Tianshan main palace. Since the death of Jin Ling and Jin En, the entire Xuanzong sect had fallen under the jurisdiction of Ling Yu. Stirring exerted all his strength and quickly arrived outside the main palace. Without notifying anyone, he directly pushed the door open and entered the main palace. At this moment, Ling Yu, who was standing in the middle of the main palace, turned around and looked at Jian Feng with a puzzled expression. He wanted an explanation from Jian Feng. I went to see my father just now, but I didn't expect to hear the heaven and earth path say that the celestial masters of 5 directions had already come out from the 33rd heaven when they were defeated. They even said that they would be back soon. What should we do? Ling Yu's eyes widened as soon as he heard this, but he immediately relaxed. Jian Feng was a little confused by Ling Yu's reaction. He should have known that he was talking about the celestial masters of 5 directions, not the 5 celestial emperors. However, after a long time, Ling Yu still stood there indifferently. He looked up into the distance, thinking about something. I know, and they're already here. What, they're already here? After a long time, Ling Yu did not say anything. However, when he suddenly said something, Jian Feng was stunned and cried out in surprise. All right, none of you should go up later. Their cultivation is not something that you can resist now. If you want to become an expert, you must first learn how to endure. Whoosh! After hearing Ling Yu's explanation, just as Jian Feng was about to speak, he suddenly realized that Ling Yu had disappeared from the main palace in an instant, right before his eyes. Sigh. It seems that my cultivation is still not enough. I have to work harder in the future. At this moment, if Jian Feng's words were heard by everyone, they would definitely hurl abuse at him. He should have known that a few hundred years ago, he was just a cultivator in the Tai realm. Only a few years had passed, and he had already reached the peak of the immortal emperor realm. He was only one step away from breaking through to the Celestial Emperor realm. However, he still felt that he was not working hard enough. Chapter 432. However, Ling Yu, who had disappeared from Tianshan Palace, had already arrived at the entrance of the Vault of Heaven. He stood proudly in the sky, looking at the immortal venerables who had arrived from the 33rd layer of heaven. His peak-late immortal venerable chi was fully unleashed the moment he saw the 5 immortal venerables, rushing towards the 5 immortal venerables in an overwhelming manner. Hiss! The 5 immortal venerables drew in a breath of cold air the instant Ling Yu's pressure came crashing down. Their bodies trembled, and their eyes were filled with disbelief as they looked at this immortal venerable who had suddenly appeared. They were inwardly horrified. Initially, they thought that even if an immortal venerable had appeared, he would only be an early or mid-immortal venerable. But now, they were completely wrong. How was this an early or mid-immortal venerable? This Motherf Ker's cultivation base was more than twice as strong as their own. Their original arrogant temperament had now become very amiable. The arrogance in their eyes had long disappeared, replaced by respect, vigilance, and probing. After all, the strong were respected. They still understood this principle. The sudden appearance of this immortal venerable who was stronger than all of them had given them a heavy blow. Asterisk swoosh asterisk in the blink of an eye, a burly figure appeared in front of them. His late immortal venerable cultivation base vanished from their sight without any concealment. Hiss! Their expressions were the same as before, but this time, they were even more shocked because they were especially shocked. At this moment, they were thinking about the background of this sect. How strong was the foundation of this sect that had 2 immortal venerables? At the same time, their hearts were filled with fear. After they entered the immortal world, they had heard a lot of topics that interested the 3 immortal venerables. One of them was the alliance to attack Xian Sect. Originally, they were proud of their juniors, but now, they were wrong. They were even cursing these idiots in their hearts for making decisions without permission. Humph! Bastard, aren't you courting death by attacking the sect without investigating thoroughly? Moreover, you have to bring me along with you. Don't ever let me see you again. At this moment, the 3 immortal venerables were cursing the juniors in their hearts. As for the 2 immortal venerables who didn't participate in the battle, they were very glad that their juniors had made the right choice. At the same time, they felt very gratified. Fellow cultivators, may I know why you have come to my Xuanzong sect? Our sect leader is not here, so please go back. Without giving them a chance to speak, Ling Yu made an inviting gesture with his poker face. The pressure he emitted was even stronger than before. A sense of oppression made these immortal venerables, who had been living like princes, feel a little uncomfortable. However, they didn't dare to say anything when they saw the 2 experts who were stronger than them. Even if they were angry, they would only vent their anger in their hearts, which made them feel very aggrieved. This. Fellow Daoist, we sense the birth of a celestial prime, so we came to congratulate you. At this moment, Central Universe Immortal Venerable said to Ling Yu gently with a smile on his face. Immediately, everyone nodded their heads in agreement. Their eyes were still filled with respect. Looking at these people, Ling Yu really wanted to go crazy and kill them one by one. However, he knew that he and Kuei Gang weren't enough to resist the 5 immortal venerables. Therefore, he could only endure and pray that Lin Rei would come back as soon as possible. However, while Ling Yu could tolerate it, Keegan couldn't. His voice was filled with anger and killing intent as he said to everyone, I was waiting for you to come out. If you didn't come, I would have gone looking for you. As soon as these words came out, the faces of the 5 immortal venerables changed. They were shocked and knew that they were going to be punished. However, the 5 immortal venerables didn't know whether to laugh or cry. They had just come out and didn't know what was going on. Even if they were asked, they wouldn't know. At this moment, the 3 immortal venerables among the 5 immortal venerables hated their descendants for starting this war. In order to avoid being implicated, the three immortal venerables hurriedly put on a flattering smile and asked with puzzlement in their eyes. Fellow Taoist, we just came out from the 33rd heaven. As soon as we came out, we rushed here. We don't know anything else. May I know what you are referring to? In short, they refused to admit their mistakes. They didn't want to provoke these two immortal venerables who had come out of nowhere and might have a backup plan for the sake of those ignorant juniors. This was because it wasn't worth it. If their sect leader died, they could still choose from their juniors. However, their own lives were very precious. Your juniors besieged the Xuanzong sect and killed tens of thousands of our disciples. Most importantly, your juniors killed the wife and son of our sect leader. Tell me, how should we deal with this? Quigang's words moved them. At the same time, they were even more certain that they couldn't admit to this matter even if they were beaten to death. Otherwise, this feud would be formed. Moreover, they knew that those who were captured would definitely die because they had done something unforgivable. The wind was still blowing. The five immortal venerables' emotions were scorching hot and complicated. They didn't expect such a thing to happen when they weren't around. However, at this moment, at the intersection of the central and eastern parts of the immortal realm, a spatial crack appeared with a swoosh. Heavenly Dipper Chi swept out in an instant, causing the surrounding space to tremble. Whoosh! A huge shuttle rushed out of the spatial crack and reached the heaven stage in an instant. The spatial crack had already healed as if it had never happened. However, all the living creatures in the surrounding space suffered a calamity. All the flowers, plants, and trees were destroyed by the Heavenly Dipper Chi that rushed out. Moreover, because they were invaded by the Heavenly Dipper Chi, it was estimated that no flowers or trees would grow again for a long time. At this moment, in the floating shuttle in the sky, a person was walking. The man's hair was slightly purple and he was dressed in a dignified yet not elegant manner. Coupled with a piece of 10,000-year-old warm jade as an accessory and a dragon crown on his head, he looked very extraordinary. In particular, his eyes were like stars and his pair of sword-like eyebrows made him look valiant and formidable. He really made people's eyes light up. I, Lin Rei, have finally returned to the immortal realm. This man was Lin Rei, who had returned from planet Aqua Blue in the realm-breaking shuttle. He had been through a lot in the past 30 days in the spatial crack. However, in any case, the realm-breaking shuttle was fast enough. Otherwise, he might not have been able to return. Looking down at the scenery below, coupled with the unique immortal chi of the immortal realm, Lin Rei suddenly felt that compared to the lower realm, it was as if the lower realm was thousands of miles away. Swoosh! Suddenly, Lin Rei's thoughts moved. In an instant, a group of people appeared on the originally empty shuttle in the blink of an eye. Wow, what a big bird! Phew! What a dense spiritual chi! I feel that if I cultivate here, I can break through the peak of the Mahayana stage and break through to the immortal realm very quickly. At this moment, the people who appeared began to talk to themselves. However, at this moment, when the cultivators who were flying on the birds heard their words, they immediately looked at them with disdain. However, when they saw Lin Rei at the front of the shuttle, they glared at him and immediately prepared to escape on the giant bird. Come back here. At this moment, Lin Rei wanted to ask someone if anything had happened while he was away. Of course, especially the situation in the Xuanzong sect. As he spoke, the immortal chi left his hand and turned into a chain, directly binding the giant bird and the person sitting on it. Plop! When the gutless passerby saw the chain on his body, he directly knelt on the ground in front of Lin Rei, kowtowing and begging for mercy. Senior, I was wrong, just now I shouldn't have. Looking at the man's appearance, Lin Rei felt helpless, especially when he saw his relatives looking at him suspiciously. For a moment, Lin Rei was a little uncomfortable. You hurry up and get up. I'm not going to kill you. I just want to ask if anything has happened in the immortal realm recently. When the kneeling man heard that he was not going to take his life, he immediately stood up with tears of gratitude and told him everything he knew. There really is. Didn't the Xuanzong sect appear not long ago? However, they seemed to be too flamboyant, which caused the dissatisfaction of several big sects, empires, and families, so, slowly, the man began to tell everything that had happened after he left. At this moment, the man did not know what to say and what not to say. In any case, he was scared witless, so he revealed everything. Listening to the man's story, Lin Rei's face instantly drooped. His eyes were very cold, and his killing intent was also very painful. His angry tiger eyes became colder and colder. Lin Rei's strange behavior made the people around him tremble involuntarily. Sometimes, when the passers-by who were talking about things saw Lin Rei's strange behavior, their voices became lower and lower until finally, there was no sound at all. Finally, the story was finished. You, go away. The cold voice made everyone's heart feel cold. The passers-by who were released hurriedly flew away on the giant bird as if they had just taken a trip to the underworld. Lin Rei was alone at the front of the shuttle. He looked at the sky and clenched his hands. Very good, very good. They dared to touch my sect. It seems that knocking the mountain to scare the tiger is useless. Instead, they were suppressed by the tiger. Lin Rei thought of what the man said just now. The Xuanzong sect had lost tens of thousands of people in this battle, and this made his heart ache. Chapter 433. Don't worry. I'll avenge you. At this moment, Lin Rei could almost imagine the scene of his disciples being killed. That scene made Lin Rei's heart ache. Tears flowed out of his eyes. As the saying went, a man doesn't cry easily unless he's deeply hurt. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was broken. His eyes were filled with hatred and his expression was ferocious. Coupled with his murderous aura, Ouyang Jing and the others who were with him were shocked. We haven't seen each other for many years. I didn't expect Big Brother's cultivation to have reached such a level. Just your murderous aura alone is enough to make me breathless. At this moment, Long Feng bent over and looked up at his big brother whom he hadn't seen for many years. His eyes were filled with respect and admiration. It wasn't just Long Feng. Everyone who was brought up from planet Aqua Blue was in the same state. They bent over and raised their heads. Their eyes were filled with shock as they stared at Lin Rei, who was filled with murderous aura. After a long time, this state continued for a long time. Finally, Long Yi couldn't take it anymore and fell to the ground. Dong! The sound woke Lin Rei up. When he saw them, Lin Rei's eyes were filled with guilt. I'm sorry. I couldn't control myself just now. When he said this, his murderous aura was restrained. However, at this moment, Lin Rei was like a sharp sword that hadn't been unsheathed. Cold light radiated in all directions. If he moved, someone would die. They could understand Lin Rei's state very well, so they didn't mind. They nodded and didn't say anything. Realm-breaking shuttle, let me go. At this moment, Lin Rei didn't want to wait here for a moment longer. He was worried that someone would go and cause trouble. He was also worried about his wife and children. According to the speed of the realm-breaking shuttle, they would be able to reach Tianqiong Mountain in less than an hour. Boundless amounts of immortal essence energy flowed into the world-piercing shuttle. With a swoosh sound, Lin Li and the others, who were on the world-piercing shuttle, instantly disappeared, transforming into a ray of light that disappeared into the horizon. At this moment, at the entrance of Tianqiong Mountain, smoke filled the air, giving off a stifling feeling. Since you're here, then let's bury you here with my sect mistress. The impulsive Keegan didn't care about what other people thought. After all, once he decided on something, no one could change his mind. Of course, other than Lin Rei. This scene happened so suddenly that no one expected it. Even Lin Yu didn't expect that Kuei Gong would make a move on Lin Fan. However, they were still on his side, so he couldn't just stand by and watch his companions fall into a desperate situation without doing anything. The two of you, we won't pursue the matter if the sects of your juniors didn't participate. However, they will have to pay the price for their juniors. If a child doesn't teach properly, it's the fault of the father. If a teacher isn't strict enough, it's the laziness of the teacher. They can't shirk the responsibility. When the Sky Tyrant Immortal Exalted and the Reincarnation Immortal Exalted heard Ling Yu's words, they understood that he did not want them to interfere. And, don't worry. We won't interfere in your feud. Even if Ling Yu didn't say it, they would still do it. After all, who would fight an immortal venerable who was stronger than them? Wasn't that just courting death? As the saying goes, it's better to have one more friend than one more enemy. Having said that, the two of them retreated to a place where the battle couldn't reach. They sat in the air and leisurely watched the beginning of the battle. As for Ling Yu, after seeing that the Sky Tyrant Immortal Exalted and Reincarnation Immortal Exalted were pushed aside, he joined the battle. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Originally, I wanted to let this go, but since you're so shameless, let's fight. At this moment, Heaven and Earth Immortal Exalted said when he saw that this battle was inevitable. However, his tone was so shameless. This was what it meant to be shameless. He was obviously in the wrong, but he still boasted in such a righteous manner. A battle between immortal venerables wasn't a battle between immortal emperors and immortal monarchs. A battle between immortal venerables was destructive. Hee. A heavenly halberd appeared in Ling Yu's hand. Endless immortal chi instantly poured into the heavenly halberd. Poisonous dragon stab. In an instant, the heavenly halberd in Ling Yu's hand seemed to have come alive. In an instant, tens of thousands of shadows appeared in the air and rushed towards Heaven and Earth Immortal Exalted. In an instant, tens of thousands of shadows of the heavenly halberd appeared in front of Heaven and Earth Immortal Exalted. Everything happened in an instant. However, Heaven and Earth Immortal Exalted was a real immortal venerable. Seeing that the fatal attack was close at hand, Heaven and Earth Immortal Exalted drew out his weapon and slashed at the incoming attack. Bam! A loud sound rang out between the two of them. In an instant, the aftermath of the attack pushed them 2 meters away before it stopped. I didn't expect that your strength isn't bad either. Ling Yu was slightly shocked when he saw that Heaven and Earth Immortal Exalted was evenly matched with his attack. However, he stopped probing and released all of his cultivation in an instant. Boom! The cultivation of an immortal venerable was the pinnacle of the immortal world. No one could withstand the might of an immortal venerable, let alone the disciples of the Xuanzong Sect and the passers-by who were watching the battle at the entrance of the Xuanzong Sect. After feeling Ling Yu's vigorous and continuous cultivation, all of their bodies directly lay on the ground. Other than the immortal emperor who could barely stand up, the others had been firmly pressed to the ground by Ling Yu's pressure. Boom! The pressure also pressed towards Heaven and Earth Immortal Exalted. For a late immortal venerable like him, this kind of pressure still had some effect on him. After all, although their cultivation was similar, there was still a difference. However, on the other side, the battle between Kuei Gang and the other two immortal venerables was getting heated. Kuei Gang himself was a warmonger. Today, it was the perfect time for him to show off his skills and fight to his heart's content. At this moment, Kuei Gang, Ao Tian and immortal venerable Hao Chen were in a state of temporary suppression. None of them could make things difficult for each other. Seeing that Kuei Gang wasn't in any danger, Ling Yu felt relieved and began to take this battle seriously. Whoosh! However, just as Ling Yu was about to show off his skills and suppress Heaven and Earth Immortal Venerable Hao Chen, a stream of light suddenly appeared in the distance, shooting towards the Xuanzong Sect. In a flash, a figure appeared in front of Ling Yu. His whole body trembled slightly, and he knelt down on the ground and said to the sky, Ling Yu, pay my respects to Sect Master. When Kuei Gang saw Ling Yu's action, he immediately withdrew from the battle with Ao Tian and came to Ling Yu's side in an instant. He also knelt down on the ground and said respectfully, "I, Kuei Gang, pay my respects to Sect Master." Their actions stunned everyone on the scene, including Ba Tian and Immortal Venerable Hao Chen, who were watching the battle from a distance. When they heard Ling Yu mention Sect Master, the two of them looked into the distance with curiosity. They also wanted to see what kind of person the Sect Master of the Xuanzong Sect was, since he had two Immortal Venerables under his command. Whoosh! The realm-breaking shuttle that was flying over from the distant sky instantly stopped in the air above the entrance to the Sky Dome. Linley, who was in the lead, looked at the two people kneeling on the ground and hurriedly said to them, "Get up." The young man's action shocked the 5 Immortal Venerables. They had thought that the Sect Master of the Xuanzong Sect would be a middle-aged or old man, but the one in front of them was obviously a young man, and his cultivation base was only in the Immortal Emperor realm. "Yes." Hearing Lin Rei's order, the two of them stood up and stood respectfully behind Lin Rei. "Tell me, what's the current situation of the sect? Are my wife and child all right? Are they hurt? Have the people who besieged the sect been caught?" Looking at Ling Yu, Lin Rei couldn't help but ask about the situation of his wife and child, as well as the situation of the sect. However, when he saw Ling Yu in a daze, Lin Rei's heart skipped a beat. He had a bad premonition. "Sect Master, Madam. Madam is dead." Boom! Linley, who had been hoping for a fluke, heard the news of his wife's death. His mind went blank, and he fell backwards. Fortunately, Ling Yu, who was behind him, reacted quickly and caught Lin Rei. However, when he saw the state of his sect master, he felt sad. Similarly, when Long Feng heard the news of Jin Ling's death, his heart also turned cold. His eyes were empty as he stood rooted to the ground. After a long time, a cold voice sounded. Who killed Ling Er? Who is so cruel?" At this moment, Lin Rei regained his senses. His eyes were filled with bloodlust. He couldn't hold back his killing intent any longer. His entire person was like a demon from hell, sending chills down one's spine. When the 5 celestial sovereigns saw this scene from afar, they couldn't help but take a step back because of Lin Rei's expression. However, the 5 celestial sovereigns quickly returned to their original positions. However, the shock in their hearts didn't dissipate for a long time. It's the Heaven and Earth Sect, Sword Sect, Proud Heaven Empire, Karakoram Immortal Sect, by family. They besieged the Xuanzong Sect. In the end, the sect master of the Heaven and Earth Sect, Heaven and Earth Sect, shamelessly captured Madam as a hostage. Young Master wanted to save Madam, but he was shot in the chest by Heaven and Earth Sect and died. Gotcha! Like a bolt of lightning, this information penetrated into Lin Rei's mind. In an instant, Lin Rei was stunned. His eyes were bloodshot. His blood-red eyes caused everyone to be shocked. At this moment, Linley's heart was filled with pain. His wife was still alive, and he still had a son. But who would have thought that his son would also die? After hearing these two pieces of news, Linley's heart was filled with so much pain that he was about to suffocate. Kill them. Kill all the sects, empires, families, and their ancestors who participated in this. Kill them all. I want them to be buried with my wife. Chapter 434. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. That was because the current Linley no longer looked like a sane person. The current Linley was like a ferocious beast, bloody and violent, giving people the feeling that if they saw him once, they would remember him for the rest of their lives. Ouyang Jing, Long Feng, and Long Ro, who were standing behind Lin Rei, opened their mouths in shock when they saw Lin Rei's current appearance. Tears flowed down from their eyes uncontrollably. Swish, swish, swish. When the 5 immortal venerables heard Lin Rei's words, they thought there were only the 2 immortal venerables in front of them. However, they didn't expect a group of people to appear in front of Lin Rei the moment Lin Rei finished his words. They knelt on the ground and spoke in a respectful tone. However, their bodies were emitting a strong murderous aura that sent chills down people's spines. "Yes, we'll obey your orders." The voice was so loud that everyone was stunned. The group of murderous people in front of them seemed to have appeared out of thin air. There was no sign of them appearing, and they were not prepared at all. At the same time, 16 immortal emperors with the same murderous aura rushed out from the Xuanzong sect and arrived in front of Lin Rui. Without looking at them, Qi Shui's eyes were fixed on the 3 immortal venerables and not far away. His murderous intent surged and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. His evil and charming face was deeply imprinted in people's minds. "Lu Ying, Ling Yu, Kuei Gang, listen to my orders. Kill them for me." This simple sentence sent chills down the spines of Immortal Venerable Heaven and Earth and the other 2 immortal venerables. A bad premonition surged in their hearts. Boom. "Yes, we'll obey your orders." After hearing Lin Rui's words, Lu Ying and the other 2 immortal venerables immediately released their immortal venerables. In an instant, they charged towards Immortal Venerable Heaven and Earth with killing intent. How is this possible? A sect with 3 immortal venerables? This is impossible. The laws of the immortal realm are still there. How can such a thing happen? The moment Lu Ying released his cultivation, everyone from Qian Kun could sense that this person's cultivation was much stronger than theirs. In an instant, everyone's hearts turned cold. "All of you, Kunlun sect, Sword sect, and Qinkuan sect, all those who offend my sect, kill them all. No matter how many there are, if 1 person blocks us, kill 1. If 10 people block us, kill 10 people. If 100 million people block us, kill them all. Kill them all. I want the entire immortal world to know that my Xuanzong sect is not to be trifled with. I want all of them to be buried with my wife and child." After speaking to the 36 members of the Azura clan, they instantly disappeared and headed towards the Kunlun sect in the east. After saying that, Lin Rui raised his head to the sky and roared. Tears of blood flowed out of his eyes. He clutched his chest with one hand and a pained expression appeared on his face. It made everyone's hearts ache. Ouyang Jing wanted to comfort his son a few times, but in the end, he didn't. "Lin Rui, calm down." At this moment, the little dragon, who hadn't appeared all this while, saw Lin Rui in this state and felt terrible. At the same time, he blamed himself. He didn't expect something like this to happen, but if he appeared now to stop Lin Rui, he was afraid that Lin Rui would do something stupid. However, Lin Rui, who was still thinking about his wife and child being killed, became even crazier when he heard the little dragon's voice. "How do you want me to calm down? Tell me, how do you want me to calm down? What do my wife and child have to do with this? Why did they kill my wife and child? Why?" Seeing Lin Rui's expression, the little dragon sympathized. He didn't have any objections to Lin Rui's decision. After all, he knew that even if the sects and empires were eliminated, there would still be sects that would rise up. It was only a matter of time before the stars changed. "Listen to me. Although your wife and child are dead, maybe you can bring them back to life." This sentence made Lin Rui stop crying and howling. He said to the little dragon with grief in his heart, "Don't lie to me. Although I'm like this, don't say such things just to comfort me." Lin Rui didn't believe that the dead could be brought back to life. I'm telling the truth. However, this is only a matter of time. As long as you cultivate to a certain level, you can do it." The little dragon's words made Lin Rui ponder. What he said was true, but the little dragon also said that maybe, but what if it didn't work? The little dragon understood Lin Rui's meaning and thoughts. Then, he said his own thoughts. "You can try. If you can come back to life, then it's naturally good. If you can't, then you won't lose anything. At least you've tried." It had to be said that the little dragon's ability to fool people was very sad. After the little dragon stopped talking, he was indeed fooled. However, he knew that the certain level that the little dragon said was definitely not the celestial realm or the celestial realm. It could be a very tough place. Moreover, it would take a very long time. Say it. The certain level that you said is a realm, and how do you do it? Hee, you don't need to know about the realm and the place. You just need to cultivate hard. As long as you reach that realm, I'll tell you. However, you have to remember that you may succeed, but you shouldn't have too much hope. As the saying goes, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. The little dragon's words made Lin Rei really want to stab him twice with a knife. At this time, he was still using himself as a distraction. Although Lin Rei knew that there was a chance for his wife and children to come back to life, it would be a very, very long time in the future. Now, he only knew that he had to take revenge. Since they had done this, then they shouldn't blame him for being ruthless. Lin Rei had nothing to say about the little dragon. At this moment, Lin Rei only wanted to avenge his wife, children, and the dead disciples. These sects must be destroyed. The forces in the celestial realm must be reshuffled. At this moment, in the distant sky, Lu Ying and the other two were fighting fiercely with Qian Kun and the others. Qian Kun was in a very difficult situation. He was suppressed by Lu Ying and didn't have any strength to fight back. If Qian Kun was like this, then there was no need to talk about the other two. Kuei Gang could fight two celestial venerables to a draw, let alone one. Not long after, Kuei Gang gathered all the strength in his body and punched Ao Tian Venerable's head. Even an immortal venerable wouldn't be able to withstand the force of a million jin. Therefore, he was knocked unconscious by Kuei Gang. While Ao Tian was unconscious, Kuei Gang used a restriction formation to seal Ao Tian's cultivation base. At this moment, Aoyu was just a mortal with the cultivation base of an immortal venerable. He didn't have the slightest chance to fight back. After the battle ended, Kuei Gang grabbed Ao Tian's neck like a dead dog and brought him to Lin Rei. With a casual toss, Ao Tian fell from the sky and landed in front of Lin Rei. Such a violent action made people not dare to look directly at him. Badian and Samsara, who were watching the show not far away, felt fear in their hearts. Phew, luckily, those little bastards didn't do anything stupid this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid the one who would be thrown to the ground right now would be me. Yeah, I must reward those little bastards when we get back. At this moment, the two of them looked at the high and mighty venerable immortal lying on the ground like a dead dog. The two of them felt that this scene was very dramatic. It was as if they had imagined this scene. It was unbelievable. But it was true, and it really happened. The two of them didn't leave, but quietly watched this unexpected and shocking scene. Lin Rei had already seen the two immortal venerables who didn't participate in the battle. In this regard, Lin Rei didn't stop them. Instead, he lowered his head and looked at the immortal venerable lying at his feet. Swoosh! A ball of flame appeared. Within the flame was the Fire Stream Universal Sword. As soon as the sword appeared, a vigorous sword chi instantly soared to the sky. Aren't you awesome? Aren't you very powerful? Pft, slash. In an instant, the Fire Stream Universal Sword was raised and chopped down on Aoyu's arm. In an instant, a stream of hot blood spurted out from Ao Tian's arm and sprayed on Lin Rei's face. Lin Rei, who was stained with blood, had red eyes, and a ferocious face. At this moment, Lin Rei looked particularly terrifying and frightening. However, no matter who it was, they would inevitably feel some fear when they saw Lin Rei's appearance. Even Ouyang Jing and his mother would feel the same way. When they saw this scene again, Ouyang Jing and the others hurriedly took a few steps back. Unconsciously, they looked at this man who killed people as if they were grass. Fear and resistance appeared in their eyes. Perhaps it was because they had not yet adapted to the laws of this world. Regarding this, Lin Li did not want to explain anything. Ah! Ao Tian, who was in a coma, was suddenly awakened by pain. A burst of miserable pain came from his mouth. He had never experienced this kind of pain since he became an immortal emperor. It should have been hundreds of thousands of years. As the saying goes, the 10 fingers are connected to the heart. Although it was the arm that was chopped off, this kind of pain was not something that anyone could endure. Hands were very important for a cultivator. Without hands, one's combat effectiveness would be reduced by more than 30%. Ao Tian, who was awakened by the pain, looked at his chopped-off arm and the bleeding wound. Then, he raised his head and glared at Lin Rei fiercely, as if he wanted to eat Lin Rei alive. Bastard, just you wait. Even if I become a ghost, I won't let you go. Today's humiliation will be 10 times worse. Idiot. Ao Tian, who seemed to have been hurt silly, was still talking big at this moment. He didn't know what kind of situation he was in. He really didn't know what he was doing. It's good that you know pain. I will torture you until my anger subsides. Not only you, but also your sect and your descendants. This is what you get for besieging the Xuanzong sect. This is what you get for killing my wife and children. I want you to live a life worse than death. If you don't believe me, you can try. Speaking till here, a sinister smile appeared on Linley's face. Oh, that's right, let me tell you, I am also a king-level alchemist. Unless I want you to die, otherwise, even the king of hell cannot take you in. Chapter 435. Lin Rei's words sent shivers down Ao Shuang's spine. Proud heaven couldn't help but shudder. He had to admit that he was quite ruthless, but now he realized that compared to this fiend devil, everything he had done in the past was like comparing a mouse to an elephant. Demon, you're a demon. Aou, who was in pain, glared fiercely at Lin Rei and said, I won't let you off even if I become a ghost. Just you wait. Huh, become a ghost? That depends on whether you have the opportunity or not. Lin Rei didn't have the chance. Ao Tian, who was lying on the ground, was howling in pain. At this moment, Ling Yu and the heaven and earth path were fighting bitterly in the sky. The two of them didn't seem to be using their full strength. Each of them was testing their own strength, and neither of them dared to act rashly. However, Lu Ying was different. Lu Ying's cultivation was higher than Hao Chen's, so he was subdued by Lu Ying without any suspense and had his cultivation sealed. Looking at Lu Ying, Lin Rei's eyes flashed with admiration. Then, he focused all his attention on Ling Yu's battle. Humph, heaven and earth, since you want to give up the Xuanzong sect, you should be prepared to be suppressed. At this moment, Ling Yu's jet black hair and white clothes were fluttering in the wind due to the immortal spiritual energy. The heavenly halberd in his hand floated in the air, making him look like a god of war standing proudly in the air. Don't talk nonsense. Since things have come to this, let's do it. As he spoke, heaven and earth path held a long sword tightly in his hand. The immortal chi in his body exploded, and a majestic immortal chi was released instantly. Bang! 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 At this moment, Lin Rei's mother, brother, and descendants from planet Aqua Blue felt heaven and earth path suppression. Because of their low cultivation, they were directly suppressed to the ground. When this scene appeared, Lin Rei felt guilty. He hurriedly released his cultivation and wrapped everyone in his enchantment so that heaven and earth path suppression wouldn't make things difficult for them. The atmosphere became heavy again. The surrounding void became very unstable because of the battle between immortal supremes, and the immortal chi became chaotic. Poison dragon, thrust. As the saying goes, if you can fight, try not to make a ruckus. Instantly, Ling Yu wielded his halberd and pierced forward, bringing with it a terrifying pressure that swept towards Qian Kun. At the same time, Ling Yu, who had executed his martial skill, was instantly rooted to the ground. Sword Codex, flowing jade water. Looking at the illusory halberds rushing towards him, Qian Kun frowned. His heart was pounding. He did not have the confidence to defeat his opponent. However, for the sake of his reputation, Qian Kun did not care too much. In an instant, he used the flowing water flower of the martial technique sword codex and slashed forward. Boom! The two attacks collided. They were evenly matched, and no one was injured. However, at this moment, a cold wind suddenly blew from behind. For a moment, a sense of crisis descended. Not good. Qian Kun, who seemed to have sensed something, instantly dashed forward. Just as Qian Kun left, Ling Yu, who had disappeared, appeared. Immediately, Ling Yu disappeared again. Seeing this, Qian Kun quickly released his divine sense to search for Ling Yu. However, Qian Kun was disappointed. At this moment, there was no trace of Ling Yu in his divine sense. For a moment, Qian Kun was filled with worry. If Ling Yu was within his range of control, it would be fine. However, he had suddenly disappeared. Qian Kun faintly felt that he was being watched. However, he could not pinpoint where Ling Yu was. With a piercing sound, Ling Yu appeared behind Piao Luo in the blink of an eye. His halberd pierced towards Qian Kun's back. At this moment, Qian Kun felt a cold wind blow past his back. Qian Kun quickly dodged, but before he could react, a deep cut was made on his left arm. The pain rushed to his heart. Qian Kun, who was far away, was terrified. If he had been a second late, he would have become a terrifying corpse. Ah! A roar came from Qian Kun's mouth. His ferocious face stared fiercely at Ling Yu, as if he wanted to swallow him alive. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Brat, you forced me, you forced me. Looking at Qian Kun's appearance, Ling Yu suddenly felt sleepy. A sudden sense of danger came and Ling Yu immediately became alert. He released his divine sense and opened his 5 senses. Everything around him was imprinted in Ling Yu's mind. Scorching sky palm. All of a sudden, Qian Kun's cultivation level skyrocketed. He shouted and raised his hand. Suddenly, a hand appeared above Ling Yu's head. The huge palm was like a small mountain. Red immortal spiritual energy rolled on the palm. A terrifying pressure instantly caused Ling Yu to stop and his speed to slow down. Bam! The huge palm landed and Ling Yu was instantly sent flying a few feet away. He struggled to stop his body from flying backward. Pfft! Ling Yu stood up straight and his throat moved. In the end, he couldn't hold it in and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale. His internal organs were in turmoil. Luckily, Ling Yu quickly circulated his cultivation technique until the blood and the pain in his internal organs stopped. He looked at Qian Kun in front of him in shock. He didn't expect Qian Kun to have such a cultivation technique that could slow him down in an instant. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have hesitated for even a second in a fight between experts. Moreover, this kind of attack was about to hit him, but it restricted his body's movements. Lin Rei, who was watching the battle from afar, couldn't help but worry for Ling Yu. He didn't expect Qian Kun to be so capable. Ling Yu, don't hold back. End the battle quickly and kill him directly. At this moment, Lin Rei was anxious. He didn't want to waste time like this. In such a situation, no one knew how many trump cards Qian Kun had. Yes, Sect leader. Ling Yu immediately perked up. According to Lin Rei's order, he had to end the battle immediately. Silent Thunder, kill. Silent Thunder spear art was instantly used by Ling Yu. The immortal spiritual chi poured into the heavenly halberd. Instantly, the shadows of the heavenly halberd materialized in the air, densely forming a fishnet-like barrier. With a majestic pressure, it instantly pressed down towards the Qian Kun realm. At the same time, Ling Yu disappeared from his original position. When he reappeared, he was already behind Qian Kun. He held the heavenly halberd in his hand and stabbed towards Qian Kun's head ruthlessly. There was no pity in his eyes and his gaze was as cold as water. Qian Kun, who was facing a pincer attack from 2 sides, was in despair. Qian Kuan knew that he didn't have the ability to destroy the barrier in front of him. Facing Ling Yu behind him, Qian Kuan felt powerless. Forget it, I don't care. If I die, so be it. In an instant, more than 10 immortal artifacts appeared around Qian Kuan. At the same time, the burning sky palm slammed towards the barrier in front of him. As for the immortal artifacts, each of them was a top-grade defensive type. At this moment, they were all placed behind Qian Kuan. Bam! Bam! Two violent sounds of collision resounded. The barrier formed by the heavenly halberd was evenly split the moment it collided with Qian Kuan's burning sky palm. No one won. Behind Qian Kuan, Ling Yu's heavenly halberd collided with Qian Kuan's burning sky palm. Although some of the immortal artifacts were penetrated by Ling Yu, he still didn't succeed. Humph, seal. Ling Yu refused to accept this result. Immediately, he cast out a restriction to seal his cultivation. Suddenly, when Qian Kuan was feeling happy that this wave of attacks had been blocked, a bone-chilling voice, like a 10,000-year-old ice that wouldn't melt for a long time, entered his ears. You. Initially, Ling Yu wanted to escape after seeing Ling Yu's sealing technique, but in the end, he wasn't able to escape Ling Yu's sealing technique. In an instant, Qian Kuan's cultivation was sealed and he fell from the sky. Without his cultivation, Qian Kuan was like a mortal at this moment. However, he was still an immortal venerable. No matter how bad his physique was, it was still stronger than an earthly immortal. Falling from such a height shouldn't be life-threatening. At most, all his bones would be broken. Whoosh! Bang! Qian Kuan fell to the ground from a height of 1,000 meters. In an instant, a 7-meter deep human-shaped pit appeared on the ground. Ah! A miserable cry came from the deep pit. At this moment, the people in the sky didn't seem to hear it. Hee, well done. Looking at Ling Yu, who had returned to his side, Lin Rei praised him. However, the pain in his eyes didn't lessen. On the contrary, it became more intense. For example, bring Qian Kuan to the main hall of the heavenly celestial hall for me. Also, bring all the people who are being held captive there. Today, I will make them live sacrifices for the dead. As he spoke, he boarded the shuttle and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Ling Yu and Kegang, who had been left behind by Lin Li, split up. One went to bring Qian Kuan, and the other went to detain the criminal. As soon as they entered the territory of the Xuanzong Sect, the people from planet Aquamarine were shocked when they saw the scene. They couldn't express their shock with words. Murong Shui, in particular, was very happy when she saw the Xuanzong Sect. Brother! Brother! At this moment, Murong Shui, who was looking around in the shuttle, suddenly saw her brother in front of a hall. She blurted out. At that moment, Murong Yu, who was cultivating, suddenly heard a familiar voice calling out to him. Immediately after, he looked around but did not see anyone. Immediately after, he thought that it was his own illusion. But he felt something was wrong. The voice was getting closer and closer, and he was very familiar with the voice. It was his sister on planet Aquamarine, Murong Shui. For a time, Murong Yu quickly stood up, and in an instant, all the things that happened thousands of miles away from the party school appeared in Murong Yu's mind. Shui. Chapter 436. All of a sudden, his beloved little sister and his parents had appeared here. When he saw Lin Li through his divine sense, he immediately understood that it was his third bro who had brought his parents up. Not only that, he also discovered the parents of his eldest brother and second brother. Immediately, he hurried over to their residence to tell them the good news. Lin Rei sensed Murong Yu's probing, and at the same time, he also felt the joy in Si's heart. Sigh. I regret it so much. At this moment, Jin Ling's figure appeared in front of Lin Rei. Looking at the smiling Jin Ling, Lin Rei was infatuated. Tears flowed from his eyes, a smile hung on the corner of his mouth, and an infatuated expression of longing. After everyone saw Lin Rei's appearance, they all sighed. Everyone felt very uncomfortable, especially Ouyang Jing. He wanted to stop him several times, but he was stopped by his son, Long Feng. Sigh. Mother, don't worry about Big Brother. Sister-in-law is very important in Big Brother's heart. Now that sister-in-law is here, Big Brother is inevitably a little. Long Feng couldn't help but choke with sobs. If he knew earlier, Jean Ling was very good to him in the mortal world. Now, they were separated by life and death. The realm-breaking shuttle quickly arrived in front of the main hall of the Heavenly Qin Palace and landed on the ground. In an instant, Lin Rei came back to his senses. He wiped the tears on his face with his hand, adjusted his emotions, and put away the shuttle. Looking at Ao Tian, who was lying on the ground and had fainted, Lin Rei couldn't wait to kill him, but he didn't. Instead, he bent down and grabbed Ao Tian's neck, lifted him, and pushed open the door to enter the main hall. Everyone followed behind Lin Rei and entered together. When they saw the majesty of the Heavenly Qin Palace, everyone stood at the entrance in a daze. Oh my God, this technology, this palace, it's amazing. At this moment, Long Yi began to evaluate the Tianqian Palace very happily. Son, take a look at this palace. Even on planet Aqua Blue, I'm afraid no one can build it. Moreover, look at the simple and unadorned atmosphere and the large pillars in the main hall. It's an ordinary item. Hearing Long Ye's words, everyone covered their faces helplessly, especially Long Huatian. He immediately felt extremely embarrassed and thought to himself, sigh, how could I have such a weird father? Although he thought so in his heart, he agreed verbally. Yes, this kind of technology is very unusual. Looking at this funny father and son pair, everyone was amused by them. However, only Lin Rei's face was cold and murderous. All of you, shut up. At this moment, as Long Ye's grandfather, Long Huatian's great-grandfather, Long Feng couldn't help but hurriedly stop his descendant. In an instant, hearing the words of their ancestors, Long Yi and his son hurriedly shut their mouths and immediately followed behind the crowd like obedient children. However, their eyes were still glancing around. Plop. Coming to the center of the main hall, Lin Rei directly grabbed Ao Tian by the neck and threw him to the ground, while he disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already sitting on the Sect Master's throne. Looking down at his family members, Lin Li sighed. Mother, in a bit, you guys go back first. Eldest bro, second bro, and fourth bro should be arriving soon. In a bit, I'll have them take you to your living quarters and settle you down. As for the rest, we'll talk about it later. Hearing this, Ouyang Jing quickly turned around and agreed. Okay, I got it. However, looking at his son at this moment, Xiang Jin couldn't help but persuade him, son, take it easy. Ling won't be able to see you like this. Looking up at his mother, Lin Rei didn't say much, then lowered his head and didn't speak. For a moment, the entire palace was very quiet. No one dared to speak. Everyone was silent. However, just as everyone was silent, a voice came from outside, full of joy. Dad, Mom. A voice sounded, and everyone was instantly alert, especially the Su family's parents. After hearing the voice, they were instantly energized. Without waiting for the speaker to come in, they quickly turned around. They jogged out of the palace. Not long after, Su Bo's figure appeared at the entrance of the palace. When he saw his parents in front of him, he couldn't help but burst into tears. Like a waterfall, they rushed down. Plop. Without another word, Su Bo, who had rushed to his parents, stood in front of them and began to bury his head in pain. This scene was really sour. At this time, the other two families couldn't help but look outside the door, but there was still no figure at the door. Every once in a while, they would look outside the door, feeling very disappointed. However, at this time, the person they wanted to see appeared. she silently appeared in front of them. Immediately, everyone hurriedly hugged their own dolls and tried to warm them up. Later, he would ask if they were cold. Later, he would ask if they were used to it, and later, he would ask if they had eaten. This scene was very heartwarming. However, on the other side, Ouyang Jing looked at the heartwarming scene and yearned for it. She also wanted to treat her children like this, but she knew that it was impossible. Especially with her father in the middle, it was even more extravagant for her to hope for this scene. Beside her, Long Feng saw the look on her mother's face and knew what she was thinking. Then, she said to Lin Rei, who was sitting in the main seat, "Big brother, you." Before Long Feng could finish her sentence, Lin Rei interrupted her. "That, big brother, you brought your family to harm my mother and the others." Later on in the Tianshan mystery area, find a good place for them to settle down. I still have some things to do here. At this moment, Long Feng was very disappointed. She knew that her big brother was doing this on purpose, and she had nothing to say about it. "All right, third brother, don't worry. Leave this matter to us." Hearing Lin Rei's words, Wang Hong was overjoyed and quickly patted his chest. He couldn't wait for such a thing to happen. He could use this opportunity to have a good reunion with his family. Then, Wang Hong brought his parents and the others out of the main hall and walked towards the Tianshan mystery area behind the main hall. Before he left, Ouyang Jing wanted to say something, but he hesitated. It was as if he wanted to say something to Linley, but in the end, he did not say it. At this moment, there was no one in the main hall. Looking at the empty main hall, Lin Rei was a little lost in thought. Why bother? Since it's already like this, why do you still want to make your mother unhappy? You know that your mother is very worried about you. Moreover, looking at the reunion of your brothers and family, she is very envious. Why can't you? Looking at Lin Rei, who had just left, the little dragon walked out and said to Lin Rei. Sigh. I know. Why wouldn't I want to? But at this time, what do you want me to do? Ling is awake, and is dead. What do you want me to do? It's all because of those bastards. If it weren't for them, I could have reunited with my family. But now, it's gone. How do you want me to reunite with my family? My wife and children are gone. Do you want me to watch them have a bunch of wives and children? At this moment, Lin Rei was full of grief. Every time he spoke of this, Lin Rei's heart felt like it was being stabbed by a knife. Do you know that I regret it now? If this was the case, I shouldn't have left. If I had known that Ling would die, I. As he spoke, Lin Rei burst into tears. He couldn't hold it in anymore. He still vaguely remembered the promise he made before he left. He would take her to travel the entire immortal realm. But now, there were still many promises and many things that he had promised, but now, he couldn't fulfill any of them. Boo-hoo. A man doesn't cry easily unless he is deeply hurt. At this moment, Lin Rei truly understood the meaning of this sentence, but he would rather not understand it. Alas. Looking at Lin Rei's appearance, the little dragon also felt sad. He had watched Lin Rei walk step by step. Although Lin Rei appeared to be a very determined, brave, and callous person, his heart was very fragile. He longed for loved ones. That's enough, don't cry. Looking at Lin Rei's appearance, the little dragon couldn't stand it anymore. He quickly changed the topic and said, You are now an early-stage immortal emperor. If you want to break through, you have to get rid of the evil qi in your body. Listening to the little dragon's pretentious look, Lin Rei was completely dumbfounded. He wanted to curse and said, Damn, do you still have any humanity? My wife and children are dead, and now you want me to cultivate? Why don't you go to hell? Didn't I tell you already? As long as your cultivation reaches a certain level, you may be able to bring your wife and children back to life. Therefore, the most important thing for you now is to work hard and cultivate. The little dragon's confident look stunned Lin Rei for a moment. He had heard the little dragon say this before, and he thought it was to comfort him. However, seeing how serious Xiaolong was, Lin Li couldn't help but begin to believe his words. "Oh, I know what you want to ask." Looking at Lin Rei's puzzled look, the little dragon casually said, "You don't need to know this. You only need to know that as long as you reach a certain level, you can reverse the order of time, and even time and space can be reversed." As soon as he said this, Lin Rei was shocked. At the same time, hope was ignited in his heart. Perhaps this method could really work. "Then tell me, how do I get rid of the evil qi?" At this moment, Lin Rei was very eager to improve his cultivation. He wanted to improve to the level of being able to reverse time and space as soon as possible. He wanted his wife and children back. Looking at the flames of struggle in Lin Rei's eyes, the little dragon was very happy. At the same time, he felt gratified for him. Chapter 437. Thud, thud, suddenly, the sound of footsteps outside woke Lin Rei up. He raised his head and saw Ling Yu and Kuei Gang leading a group of people that Lin Rei had never seen before. Of course, Lin Rei recognized Jian Wudi among them. When he saw Jian Wudi, Lin Rei was stunned. He had not expected that the Sword Sect would also participate in the siege of the Xuanzong Sect. Lin Rei was furious. He was furious, but not because Jian Wudi had joined the siege of the Xuanzong Sect, nor because of his wife. What really made Lin Rei angry was that Jian Wudi had ignored his son's life, even though he knew that his son was a disciple of the Xuanzong Sect. Lin Rei could not stand it anymore. He could not understand why Jian Wudi would sacrifice his family's life for the sake of benefits. Looking at the crowd below, Lin Rei was furious. His murderous aura burst out and he rushed toward the people who had entered the hall. Boom! The murderous aura was like a sudden clap of thunder. It stopped the crowd in their tracks and they could not take another step forward. Some of the weaker practitioners were even suppressed to death by Lin Rei's boundless murderous aura. However, Jian Wudi and a few others continued to move forward, step by step, until they were not far away from Lin Rei. The faces of the Heaven and Earth Sect members were filled with rage. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent as they stared at Lin Li, who was sitting on the Sect Master's seat. It was as though they wanted nothing more than to rush up and tear Lin Li apart. Looking at them, Lin Rei was even angrier. His murderous aura rushed out of his body uncontrollably. "Tell me, who gave you the courage to kill people in the Xuanzong Sect?" Lin Rei's words made the people below look up at the same time. Their eyes were filled with fear. "Oh, it goes without saying. Your Xuanzong Sect has caused such a big commotion in the immortal realm. How can our sects deal with this?" The one who spoke was still the Heaven and Earth Sect, the one who had murderous aura toward Jin Ling and Jin En. Although he was now a prisoner, he still put on the airs of the sect leader of the Heaven and Earth Sect. It was as if he was the sect leader of the Heaven and Earth Sect. However, Jian Wudi, who was next to the Heaven and Earth Sect, lowered his head when he saw Lin Rei. His eyes were filled with fear and shock. Although his cultivation base had been sealed, he was still a true immortal emperor. With a single glance, he was able to tell Lin Li's cultivation base. His heart was filled with shock. He had long known that breaking through to the immortal emperor realm from the immortal monarch realm would take at least 1,000 years in the immortal world. However, in such a short period of time, Qin Wentian had already become an immortal reverend that everyone respected. Moreover, he even had immortal reverence as his subordinates. For a moment, he was terrified, but he was even happier. He was happy for his son because he had such a good platform. Ha, ha ha ha. Hearing the words of the Heaven and Earth Sect, Lin Rei laughed bitterly. His eyes were filled with sorrow. Just for status and face, you can kill tens of thousands of my disciples? Just because of your sect, you can attack my beloved wife and children? What kind of immortal emperor are you? What kind of righteous Tao are you? At that moment, Linley roared at the crowd. Instantly, everyone lowered their heads. They didn't think it was appropriate to ask such a question, but they didn't want this to happen. Those who achieve great things don't care about trifles, let alone killing a wife and son. The Heaven and Earth sect was very happy to see Lin Rei's reaction. They believed that if they could do it again, they would still do the same. You. At this moment, Linley had nothing to say. This was because Linley had nothing to say to this person in front of him. Boom. Looking at this person who treated his wife and son like dirt, Lin Rei didn't say anything. At this moment, Lin Rei really wanted to kill him. However, Lin Rei didn't do so. The illusory spirit blood flame jumped out of Lin Rei's palm. Like a fire spirit, it mischievously jumped around on Lin Rei's palm. However, the color of this flame was a little strange. Ordinary flames were red, yellow, and even ice flames. However, this blood-like flame was very strange. They had never seen it before. However, they didn't underestimate the flame in Lin Rei's hand. The moment the flame appeared, they squinted their eyes and their faces turned serious. No one doubted the power of this flame because the moment the flame appeared, the temperature in the entire palace rose. This is... Unknowingly, when Silver saw the flame in Lin Rei's hand that looked like a fire spirit, he exclaimed. His eyes were filled with fear and he unconsciously took half a step back as if he had seen a ghost. Silver's exclamation attracted the attention of everyone, including Lin Rei. Regarding the illusory spirit blood flame, no one in the immortal realm should know about it. However, Silver's exclamation just now clearly showed that he knew what it was. The immortal realm had been established for a long time, so it was normal for someone to know about it. This is the illusory spirit. Illusory spirit blood flame? Lin Rei's heart trembled. As expected, Silver said the name of the illusory spirit blood flame. Looking at Silver, Lin Rei's eyes showed a hint of interest. He really wanted to know how Silver knew about the illusory spirit blood flame. Oh, not bad. I didn't expect that in such a low-level plane, there would be someone who knows about the illusory spirit blood flame. At this moment, even the system's little dragon was selected from the system and looked at Silver with surprise. Then, it hurriedly said to Lin Rei. Hurry up, kid, ask him how he knows about it. In the infinite realms, there are not many who know about the illusory spirit blood flame. Since he knows about it, he must not be simple. The more he spoke, the more anxious the little dragon's voice became. Hurry up, and ask him how he knows about it. Huh? Lin Rei was stunned. At this moment, looking at the little dragon, he seemed to be very curious. This was not like him. Usually, he always thought that he knew everything. However, now that he was acting like this, Lin Rei felt that there was something fishy about this matter. Then, he asked, Tell me, how did you know about the illusory spirit blood flame? If you tell me, I might consider letting the younger generation of the Bai family go. Looking at Silver, Lin Rei said coldly, If not, your Bai family will be wiped out in the immortal realm. This sentence caused Silver to fall to the ground. Immediately, he regretted it. He regretted that he had joined forces with the Qingkuan sect to attack the Xuanzong sect. However, everything was a foregone conclusion. Now that there was a chance for the Bai family to survive, Silver was overjoyed. He hurriedly told Lin Rei everything he knew about the illusory spirit blood flame without holding back. Actually, I know very little about the illusory spirit blood flame. When I saw sect leader Lin use the flame, I asked out of curiosity. I didn't expect it to be true. Hearing Silver's nonsense, Lin Rei frowned and said unkindly, Cut the crap and get to the point. With Lin Rei's words, Silver was stunned. He hurriedly told Lin Rei the important things. It's like this. Once, when I was traveling, I saw it on a floating island in the sea. At that time, there was no island in that place, but in the blink of an eye, an island appeared silently. Moreover, there were many restrictions on it. Silver's eyes were filled with fear as he said this. It was as if he didn't want to talk about the illusory spirit blood flame. When I was near the island, there was a tablet on the island. It said, "Illusory spirit blood flame, secret key." After reading these 2 sentences, suddenly, a vision appeared before my eyes. When he spoke up to this point, Silver's entire body started to tremble. Linley was puzzled by this as well. He remembered that when he'd just obtained the Mirage Bloodfire, Xiaolong had clearly said that it was a divine flame. But now, it had actually appeared on an island, and it was even in the immortal dimension. For a moment, Linley was curious about this. "Quick, ask what's going on." The little dragon's voice was heard again. His voice was very urgent, as if this matter was of utmost importance to him. In the environment, the sky was blood-red and the ground was covered with corpses. On the corpses, blood-red flames burned. That was purgatory. Yes, purgatory on Earth. At this point, Silver roared uncontrollably. His eyes were filled with madness. Angry roars. Miserable cries. Despair. However, for a very long time, those people could not be burned to death. Apart from endless pain, they could not even control their deaths. They could only scream endlessly. At this point, Silver collapsed on the ground, as if he was experiencing it himself. Ha ha ha, good. The little dragon's laughter was heard. His voice was filled with joy. Regarding the little dragon's situation, Link did not know why, but he felt that this matter was not ordinary. "Boy, ask that floating island where you saw it." "What?" Lin Ray was very puzzled by the little dragon's words, but he still asked Silver. "Silver, tell me, where you found that floating island." Yes. At this moment, Silver's voice was very weak. Furthermore, he was sweating profusely and his clothes looked weak. "I saw it in the Heavenly Sea region. However, that floating island disappeared not long after it appeared. It was because of that I was able to survive." "What, disappeared?" Without waiting for Lin Ray to speak, the little dragon blurted out. His face was full of disappointment. "Sigh, it seems that thing is not so easy to find." "That thing? What thing?" Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray asked. Based on his understanding of the little dragon would not care about ordinary things. The things that Lin Ray remembered were usually good things. Looking at the little dragon's current state, the thing that little dragon was talking about must be something that could only be encountered by chance. Otherwise, the little dragon would not have lost his composure like this. Chapter 438. Hee, kid, you're still too young to get information out of me. However, what I can tell you is that the island is full of treasures. However, you're still too young to get them. That thing is related to a shocking secret. Even those old guys couldn't find it back then. You? Hee, it's not that I'm looking down on you, but unless your cultivation and strength surpass those old guys in all aspects, I advise you not to know. It won't do you any good. TSK. Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray was instantly displeased. Do you really think I want to know? In fact, Lin Ray really wanted to know what was on that island. Since the little dragon was so cautious, it had to be an extremely heaven-defying existence. However, at this moment, Lin Ray was very anxious. It was as if his heart was acting up. He really wanted to know, but looking at the little dragon's expression, he knew that he had no chance. Stubborn duck. Just wait, you'll know one day. After speaking, the little dragon disappeared before Lin Ray's eyes. Lin Ray was even more displeased. He left just like that without saying goodbye. Coming back to his senses, Lin Ray suppressed his curiosity. Looking up at Biyao, Lin Ray's murderous intent burst forth. I'll definitely do what I promised. Die in peace. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Rei's sword finger turned into a golden light. With a huge pressure, it stabbed towards Bai Yin. Bam! With a sound, everyone looked at Bai Yin. At this moment, a hole the same size as Lin Rei's sword finger appeared in between Bai Yin's eyebrows. Red and white substances instantly spewed out from the hole and sprayed onto the heaven and earth path who was standing at the side. The scene was very frightening. Bai Yin's eyes were wide open, and he died with a grievance. Bai Yin only regretted it when he died. The regret in his eyes was very strong, but it was too late. Ugh! Ugh! Instantly, the people behind Silver felt their chests tighten when they saw this scene. Then, they bent over and vomited. However, this was only a small portion of them. As for the others, they seemed to be used to it and didn't feel anything. A giant who stood at the peak of the immortal world died in such a sullen manner. Moreover, he didn't close his eyes in peace. In response, Lin Rei's sorrow did not heal. Instead, it became even more painful. When he thought of his wife Lin Rei's arms being chopped off, Lin Rei's heart burned with rage. He wanted nothing more than to kill everyone in front of him. I will keep you alive. I will not let you die. Just like Bai Yin said, I will use the illusory spirit blood fire to make you suffer for eternity. I will make you atone for the sins of my wife and children for eternity. The moment these words came out, the heaven and earth path was enraged. He uncontrollably rushed towards Lin Rei. He opened his mouth and viciously hissed at Lin Rei. However, Lin Rei was not afraid of the heaven and earth path whose cultivation was sealed. Moreover, just as the heaven and earth path was about to reach him, Ling Yu suddenly appeared from the side and kicked the heaven and earth path's abdomen with great force. Bang! Ah! After a miserable scream, the heaven and earth path was instantly sent flying. He formed a perfect arc in the air and fell to the ground 10 meters away. Fortunately, the heavenly palace was a god-level magic treasure. Otherwise, with Ling Yu's strength, the place where the heaven and earth path landed would have been smashed into a huge pit. Cough cough. Poof. A mouthful of blood spurted out from the heaven and earth path's mouth. In an instant, his face turned pale. Ah! The heaven and earth path struggled to get up from the ground. He was on the verge of collapse and looked like he would fall again at any time. Finally, he stood on the spot with a vicious look in his eyes. He clenched his fists so tightly that his nails dug into his flesh. However, the heaven and earth path did not seem to feel it. He continued to stare at Lin Rei, unwilling to leave for even a moment. Heh! Cough, hee, a sinister laugh came from the heaven and earth path's mouth. In an instant, a sense of danger welled up in his heart. Lin Rei looked at the heaven and earth path. At this moment, the immortal chi around the heaven and earth path was in a mess. At the same time, the sealed cultivation was released as the realm-breaking technique was broken. Instantly, Lin Rei felt that something was wrong. Heh, you want me to atone for that bitch forever? Dream on. Even if I die, I won't suffer such humiliation. Hearing this, Lin Rei was shocked. A thought appeared in his mind: self-destruct. Alright, leave the main hall now. Lin Rei, who felt that something was wrong, quickly ordered everyone to leave the main hall. However, the heaven and earth path flew shamelessly to the entrance of the main hall and closed the door. Don't you think it's too late to leave? In an instant, the immortal spiritual energy in the heaven and earth path's body became violent. A terrifying pressure swept across the entire main hall. As the dangerous aura approached, Lin Rei's expression changed. Even Ling Yu's expression changed. If they had known earlier, the self-destruction of an immortal emperor was not a joke. After the self-destruction of an immortal emperor, the surrounding area would not be able to recover even after 10,000 years. The middle-aged man would die and not even a blade of grass would survive. Moreover, even a venerable immortal would not be able to withstand the power of the explosion. Ling Yu, who wanted to stop them, found that it was too late. He immediately looked at Lin Rei. Then, he rushed out and stood in front of Lin Rei. His immortal spiritual energy burst out and wrapped Lin Rei in his protection. Although this method was not the best method, and it might not work, it was the only way. At the very least, this was what he did. Ling Yu's action warmed Lin Rei's heart. Then, he took out the heaven and earth bell with a determined look. Pai Xiao, stop cultivating. He communicated with the heaven and earth bell and moved the Pai Xiao out. Then, his divine sense wrapped around the self-destruction heaven and earth path. In an instant, the heaven and earth path disappeared. The dangerous aura in the main hall also disappeared. However, Lin Rei was distressed. The power of the self-destruction of an immortal emperor was not something that Lin Rei could guarantee. Moreover, the heaven and earth bell was the only divine artifact that Lin Rei could store people. For everyone's safety, Lin Rei could only make a choice. It was either he died or he lived. Bam! With a loud bang, the heaven and earth bell in Lin Rei's hand emitted smoke and the spiritual qi dissipated. The entire heaven and earth bell was now in tatters. It no longer shone with light and had an immortal aura. Lin Li believed that even if he threw it into a garbage dump, it wouldn't catch the eye of a garbage collector. Ding dong, the heaven and earth bell has been destroyed. Does the host wish to repair it? Just as Lin Rei felt his heart bleeding, the system's voice sounded in his ears. Suddenly, Lin Rei seemed to come back to life and quickly said to the system. Repair it, hurry up and repair it. Lin Li, who had been full of excitement, was stunned when he heard the system's next words. Ding dong, 1 million exchange points. Does the host wish to pay? At this moment, Lin Rei felt as if 10,000 curses were running through his mind. He could not wait to rush into the system and beat it up. Go to hell, are you crazy? 1 million? Why don't you go rob a bank? Are you King crazy? In an instant, a string of vulgarities burst out of his mouth and his face was filled with anger. 1 million? Even if he had, he couldn't repair the heaven and earth bell. 1 million wasn't a small amount. Besides, he really didn't have it. It seemed like he owed the little dragon a lot. At this moment, the little dragon in the system was convulsing with laughter at this scene. Ha ha ha, you've been defeated, haven't you? Who told you to talk back to me every day? Ha ha ha. Ding dong, does the host wish to repair it? The system's voice sounded again. Lin Rei was speechless. Then, he said coldly, I'm not repairing it. Then, Lin Rei returned to his senses and looked regretfully at the broken legendary artifact in his hand. In an instant, Lin Rei hated the Heaven and Earth Sect and the Heaven and Earth Sect to the extreme. Go, kill the Heaven and Earth Immortal Sovereign for me. At this moment, Ling Yu, who was standing at the side, had already dispersed his cultivation. After hearing the order, he disappeared from the spot. At this moment, the people standing below, upon hearing Lin Li's words, felt their hearts tremble. It was as though they were dreaming, as though what they were hearing wasn't real at all. The immortal sovereign was a high and mighty existence. Now, he was killed by Lin Rei so easily. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as Lin Li was waiting for Ling Yu's reply, suddenly, 36 Azura clansmen wearing blood-red robes charged in. Their bodies were covered in a thick, bloody aura and murderous aura. Plop. Under everyone's watchful eyes, they came in front of Lin Rei. Instantly, the 16 Azura tribesmen in red robes knelt in front of Lin Rei and said in unison. We report to the sect leader that the Kunlun sect has been removed from the celestial realm. Boom. This news was like a bolt of lightning that struck everyone's heart, especially Celestial Emperor Xian Dao of the Kunlun sect. When he heard the news, he was completely enraged. The Kunlun sect was a sect with a long history in the celestial realm. At this moment, the 36 celestial emperors casually said that the Kunlun immortal sect had been removed from the celestial realm. Bastard! Bastard, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. Instantly, a furious roar came from the mouth of immortal Emperor Xian Dao, the leader of the Karakoram immortal clan. As he roared, he charged towards Linli. Humph, how dare you be rude to the sect leader? Kill him without mercy. At this moment, Shui, who was kneeling on the ground, saw Xian Dao's actions and immediately flashed behind Xian Dao. He placed a long sword on Xian Dao's neck. Pooh! The sound of flesh being cut was heard. Xian Dao's corpse rolled to the side. Plop! The cold and lifeless corpse lay on the ground. After killing Xian Dao, Shui Yi returned to his original position and knelt on the ground. Hiss! Everyone gasped when they saw this scene. They looked at the 36 Azura tribesmen who were kneeling on the ground in shock. At the same time, fear, helplessness, despair, and various other emotions welled up in their hearts. They regretted it, thoroughly regretted it. They regretted going against the profound sect. They regretted going against Linli. Good, good, good. When Lin Rei said the 3 words, good, tears welled up in their eyes. They were filled with sorrow. Ling, did you see this? This is the first one. Just wait, I'll make all of them accompany you in hell. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.